What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one randomly on a Sunday, but that's because the news is pretty heavy for today. So basically, I'm going to go over what set it off. I'm going to go over a couple other tidbits that people should know regarding Deshaun Watson. And then I'm going to get into things I'm hearing because as EM can account for, as Jeremy Klump can account for, as the homie Sorty can account for, I've been doing some digging. Me and Klump have been digging hard this morning, and we've both found things out and been told certain things. So I'm going to reveal stuff that, that I've been told today, because there are some conflicting reports that I'm being told. I'm really confused. I'm like baffled right now because the thing is, I'm hearing legitimate, like, how do I word this? I'm hearing something from one person that's legitimate, and then privately I'm hearing something from a totally opposite thing from another person that's legitimate. So like I'm like in limbo here. I'm going to tell you guys what I've been told. You guys can take it however you want it, and you guys can come up to your own conclusions, because I'm like super confused. Because usually, go back to, you remember that Adam Beasley report that came out like last week or whatever about Tua Tagovailoa and Watson. I was telling you guys that stuff weeks before Adam Beasley and Pro Football Network reported that. I had that information weeks before, and I was hearing that from multiple people. So it was consistent, right? Now I'm hearing inconsistencies. One person saying this thing, another person saying this thing. And it's like boggling my mind. I don't know. It's coming down to a point of who do I want to believe? And the thing is, they're both legit. I've talked to 4 different people this morning about it, and 2 of those people are outside of the Dolphins organization. 2 of the other people are connected to the Dolphins organization. So, I mean, I don't know. So we'll get into it. I'll tell you guys exactly what I'm hearing. And I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions. My whole job is just to bring to you guys the objective information. That's all. My job is just to relay what I'm being told. That's it. So I'll do that to you guys, and then we'll go from there. So let's start off with everything, and then I'll open it up to you guys to hear your thoughts. So it all started this morning with the ESPN report, and we'll go over that right now. So, strong sense, Texans move on from Deshaun Watson, Xavien Howard trade linked. There was reportedly a strong sense within NFL that the Houston Texans intend to move on from quarterback Deshaun Watson. During an appearance on SportsCenter on Sunday, ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler said a source close to Watson believes a trade will happen sooner or later, provided his legal situation gets resolved. Watson is facing 22 civil lawsuits that allege sexual misconduct while receiving massages. Fowler added that the Texans have been linked to the Miami Dolphins cornerback Xavien Howard, who is unhappy with his contract. And remember, we've thrown this out there. We've asked the question, are they holding on to Xavien Howard in hopes of making a play with him for Deshaun Watson when Watson clears up? Because we all know Xavien Howard is a Texas native. Fowler added that Texans have been linked to Miami Dolphins cornerback Xavien Howard, who's unhappy with his contract. That could make a Watson for Howard trade a possibility. Although Fowler noted the Dolphins, this is what confused me. Although Fowler noted that the Dolphins have given no indication they plan to pursue Deshaun Watson. That kind of jumped out to me a little bit there when I read that, because Jeremy Fowler's pretty locked in. So, I mean, it doesn't jive with what I've been hearing from behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And you guys already know that. And then it says Watson's status for the 2021 season is uncertain for multiple reasons, including the possibility of him getting suspended by the NFL. Also, before the lawsuits were filed, it was reported that Watson was happy in Houston and had requested a trade. The addition of Howard would give the Texans a dynamic cornerback tandem with Bradley Roby already on the roster. Though it remains unclear if the Dolphins have any intention of parting ways with Howard. As for Watson, the Texans are seemingly preparing without him, leaving Tyrod Taylor, Jeff Driscoll, and rookie third-round pick Davis Mills to battle out for the quarterback snaps. All right, so a ton to unfold here, all right? So, what's kind of interesting about that is Jeremy Fowler saying that no indication the Dolphins plan to pursue, where that's not what's really going on behind the scenes. I mean, I told all of you weeks and weeks ago that I was hearing that they were still monitoring the Deshaun Watson situation. You know, when you go back to the show where I talked about Brian Flores didn't like how Tua's been shoved down his throat. He's not totally sold on Tua, et cetera, et cetera. And then Adam Beasley drops his article not too long ago, and it jived exactly with what I was telling you guys weeks prior. So let's go further into and what, first of all, on X, before we dive further into the Deshaun Watson situation, what's crazy to me about the whole Xavien Howard and the Texans wanting to acquire Xavien Howard, like, even if it's in a deal that doesn't involve Deshaun Watson, that would make no sense. They're not close to winning. Xavien Howard is 28 with questionable knees, on the wrong side of approaching 30. It just wouldn't make sense. You know, a winner, a contender, someone who feels they're a piece away from winning, makes a lot more sense ponying up capital for Deshaun Watson than the Houston Texans right now. That's what kind of throws me off about that. So, I mean, we'll see how it unfolds with him. I've been told that one NFC East team believes that he's going to end up a Dallas Cowboy in the end of it, at the end of all this stuff. So, and that kind of jives with what I was telling y'all would go down before the draft, where it made sense for the Cowboys to make a trade for Xavien Howard. Apparently the Cowboys are still seriously in play for X. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully they're creating a bidding war if they're actually going to move him. So, all right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's get deeper, because a lot of people are wondering. There's a lot going on with the Deshaun Watson showing up to camp. Now, obviously, he has to show up to camp to avoid being fined $50,000 a day. All right, we all know that. It's money out of his pocket. All right. Now, here is what Ian Rapoport had to say. Ian Rapoport said Deshaun Watson is returning to the Texans. How long he stays with them remains to be seen. Houston's quarterbacks are reporting to training camp Sunday, and Watson is expected to be among them, NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport reported. The star QB will be present for testing to begin entry into camp. So he's actually not practicing, which I'm going to show you why makes, why that matters. I'll show you that in a minute. Though his stance about the organization's desire to be traded remains unchanged, Rapoport added, Watson would face the mandatory $50,000 fines for every missed camp. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported the 50-year veteran remains under both NFL and police investigations after being accused in 22 separate lawsuits filed in March and April of sexual assault and misconduct during massage sessions. Pelissero added that the league has not placed Watson on the commissioner's exempt list because it has not concluded that a major violation has occurred. That's key to all this. Because if he gets thrown on the exempt list, that means he cannot practice. That means he cannot be involved at all. So, I mean, that matters. That's what, and people are still surprised that he hasn't been put on the exempt list. But anyways, with no criminal charges imminent, the onus at the moment is on Watson and the Texans to work out how to proceed. NFL Network's Mike Garofalo reported the club has not commented publicly on Watson's status since April, when new general manager Nick Cassero said it would respect the legal process. Watson's last public comments came in March when he denied any wrongdoing. So Houston, they begin practice on Wednesday. So if he's going to have to be put on, if he's going to be put on the exempt list, you got to imagine it's going to happen in the next 72 hours if it's going to happen. And I've had conversations privately with people, with with Klump, and we've all been scratching our head at the NFL has been investigating this for how many months? And they haven't come to a conclusion. We all know Roger Goodell is real trigger happy with when he thinks there's even an inkling of someone being guilty of whatever conduct they're being accused of, they get suspended or they get thrown on the exempt list and it's over. Yes, Stevie, we begin practice on Tuesday. So it's kind of weird how this has been going down. And then now all of a sudden this has gone down. So I'm going to get into what I'm hearing. I'm going to get into what I've been told today because I've been working the phones all day. So, all right, let's get into what Tom Pelissero tweeted out because I want to show y'all what because it matters. So he said, here's the language in the 2020 personnel conduct policy regarding the use of the commissioner's exempt list. The NFL hasn't used the designation with Deshaun Watson, indicating the league's ongoing investigation hasn't led to Roger Goodell to believe a major violation has occurred. So, leave with pay. A player may be placed on paid administrative leave pursuant to the commissioner exempt list under either of the following circumstances. First, when a player is formally charged with a felony offense, or two, a crime of violence, meaning that he is accused of having used physical force or a weapon to injure or threaten a person or animal, of having engaged in a sexual assault by force, or against a person who was incapable of giving consent, or having engaged in other conduct that poses a genuine danger to the safety or well-being of another person. The formal charges may be in the form of an indictment by a grand jury, the filing of charges by a prosecutor, or an arraignment in criminal court. Second, when an investigation leads to the commissioner to believe that a player may have violated the policy by committing any of the conduct identified above, he may act where the circumstances and evidence warrant doing so. This decision will not reflect a finding of guilt or innocence and will not be guided by the same legal standards and considerations that would apply in a criminal trial. Third, in cases in which a violation relating to a crime of violence is alleged but further investigation is required, the commissioner may place a player on the commissioner exempt list on a limited and temporary basis to permit the league to conduct a preliminary investigation. Based on the results of this investigation, the player may be returned to duty, be placed on the commissioner exempt list for a longer period, or be subject to discipline. A player who is placed on the commissioner exempt list may not practice or attend games, but upon request and with the club's permission, he may be present at the club's facility on a reasonable basis for meetings, individual workouts, therapy and rehabilitation, and other permitted non-football activities. So that's key right there at the end there, right? He will not be able to practice, but he'll be allowed to be at the training facility. He'll be allowed to take part in players' meetings, all of that kind of jazz. So you got to think if he's actually going to be placed on this list, it's going to happen within the next 72 hours. And the question people have to be asking themselves is, when news leaked last, month or 2 months ago about a settlement being near, what Watson and his camp wanted was for all the women to divulge the information that they were accusing him of. And that was the sticking point in them coming to a financial settlement. The women did not want to divulge it. All right. So let's get into what I'm hearing now. Okay. I'm going to read some stuff off to you. All right. This is what I've heard. All right. So at, what time? Here, let me find an exact time for you guys. All right. So real early this morning at about Let me see this. Okay. At about 10:29, I was told from an NFC source that the team who is interested in Deshaun Watson and one of the teams that has been linked to Deshaun Watson has been told he'll be able to play this year. I was told that at 10:29 a.m. today. Another thing I've been told is that Houston believes they are not going to get a large package for Deshaun Watson. I don't give up my sources. What do you mean, who are your sources? Why would I give you my sources? Okay? Just know my sources called everything that Adam Beasley just dropped in his PFN article 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior to that. Okay? The reason why having sources is they don't give you information. They don't say, yo, tell everyone my name. Get out of here. So I was told that he will be able to play this year. Now, I talked to someone in the AFC whose team has been linked to Aaron Rodgers and who's also been, there's been Watson news. Some people assume Watson's going to go there because they want a quarterback. They're not in the AFC East, obviously. And they told me that the belief is they think Deshaun Watson's going to end up on the exempt list and their team is not in on Watson. Another thing I've been told today at about 10, let me give you the exact time. 10:37, I received this message from one of my people. Buckle up. I'm starting to think Tua and X for Watson could happen. Been told the Texans know they will not get a massive deal for Watson, and they are enamored with Xavien Howard. GM Casero loves Tua Tagovailoa. So, it's kind of and another person has told me that from what they've heard, conversations are already happening internally in the Miami Dolphins front office about Deshaun Watson as we speak right now. So, I mean, that's like a lot to take in right there. And so I've talked to, these is coming from 4 different people. 2 of those people were the ones who were giving me all the information that ended up coming out in an Adam Beasley article a few weeks later. So, yeah. It's, I even, someone told me that they heard from someone that we've been talking with the Denver Broncos for the past couple of days or a trade. I talked to my connection with the Denver Broncos and was told that he's heard nothing. So, and he's the same person who told me that they're going to be exempt, that they believe that Deshaun Watson's going to end up on the exempt list this year, which is kind of crazy because you hear everything that's going on. Ian Rapoport and Tom Pelissero are giving the impression he's not going to go on the exempt list. Yet I'm being told privately that the belief in one organization is he's going to go on the exempt list. And then in the NFC organization, the person I talked to, they were told Watson's going to be playing this year. So you can see how I'm being pulled in all these different directions right now. So, dude, Rhino, I'd get over the investigation. If the NFL found something, they would have found it something by now. This is why the women in the investigation were saying that they thought the NFL wasn't taking them seriously enough. And they stopped cooperating. If they told them enough, this, it's very unusual that the NFL has been investigating for multiple months and nothing's come of it. But the problem is the person who told me that they believe he's going to go on the exempt list, the guy has a phenomenal track record, like one of the best track records I can say of anyone I talk to, which is crazy to me because it's not jiving with everything else that Rapoport and Tom Pelissero are saying. So, and the person who told me, I'll give you another little tidbit. The person who told me to buckle up, I'm starting to think Tua for Watson could happen. Been told the Texans they won't get a massive deal for Watson and are enamored with X. GM Cesario loves Tua. Same guy who told me that we tried to trade up with the Vikings at 23. Same person, same exact person. Pretty locked. The guy's pretty locked in. He's also, so, I mean, I don't know. Like, and again, I've heard that we're having meetings this weekend at the facility and it's regarding Watson. So I don't know. I told y'all they were monitoring the situation, that it never went away. So that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. What is crazy to me is, and I know someone tweeted this out, and I actually sent, let me find out who tweeted it out because I find it actually pretty funny. Clay Travis tweeted out, he said the NFL's COVID vaccine policy is more stringent than their sexual assault policy. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm absolutely shocked that at least until the investigation is done, that at least until, everything kind of plays out, that he's not on the exempt list. If he is, they start on Wednesday in Houston, if he's 3 days away, you got to understand, man. I was, again, another person, one of those people told me that Deshaun Watson's clearly sending a message to every team that's interested in him about checking into training camp that he thinks he's going to be good to go this year. So, fantasy fan paddle, I never once said anything was a lie. Now you're lying, bro. And don't go back into the unknown and get blocked again because now you're lying. I never once said anything was a lie. In fact, I said if you can win the trade for Deshaun Watson, the business move is to make the trade. I said that from the get-go. But you have to win the trade, not overpay for him. Never once said anything was a lie. So if you're going to start lying in my comment section, I will block you and you can go back to being a viewer, not a commenter, bro. Never once said that. Find the receipts. So I've actually been talking about this for over a month. When no one was talking about Deshaun Watson anymore, I was telling all of you that they're monitoring the situation. So, a settlement, Rhino, a settlement will help Watson because there's no guilty verdict. My whole thing is what I've heard was Stephen Ross originally signed off on it. When the allegations hit, Stephen Ross pulled his signature. If he gets cleared up, if this gets settled, Deshaun Watson is back in play. I've said that from the moment. That's all they've been waiting for is Deshaun Watson to get cleared up. I've never once, it's not on Larry's show because I've never once said these were all lies, bro. You're literally making things up right now. Last warning, Pete, and then you're gone. Like literally last warning. I've never once said they were all lies. So I don't know where this is headed. I think if Watson can play, then he's in play for the Dolphins. I don't think it's going to be. That's who Flores wants, man. I've told y'all, Flores is not sold on Tua Tagovailoa. See, now you're changing your story, Pete. One thing you're saying I'm a lie. Now you're saying you wanted to know who are the sources. I never once said that again. Because I've been consistent telling people that my sources are saying, I've been on record as saying if the allegations didn't hit, Deshaun Watson would be a Miami Dolphin. I've literally said that from the beginning from what I've been told. So you're changing your story, bro. Like now it went from a liar. Well, no, you weren't saying it was a lie. You're saying who the source is. I've told you from the get-go and everyone here who's watched that if these allegations did not hit, Deshaun Watson would be a Miami Dolphin right now. I've said that from the beginning. Like, you just changed your story, bro. What's going on, buddy?
What's good, homie?
What are you saying,
man?
Bro? I mean, you can back me up. What have I not said? Have I been consistent in that? Have I not said that if allegations didn't hit, Deshaun Watson would be a Miami Dolphin?
Absolutely. Who's saying that? Where's that coming from?
To say that I was calling all these reports about Watson a lie. Then he changed that and said, oh, well, you said who are the sources? Well, my sources have been telling me he would be a Miami Dolphin if these allegations never hit. I don't know what he's talking about, bro. So
give me 1 second, Reason. Hang on, bro.
But this is where I'm at, guys. If Deshaun Watson get cleared up, we're in play. It's just going to come into a matter of a couple things. All right. If he provides a list, of teams he's willing to accept a trade for, if he's Yo, Pete, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Like, I'm done with you, dude. I literally gave y'all a report 3 weeks before Adam Beasley reported it. Before an NFL insider gave y'all a report, I gave y'all the exact information. So what are you talking about flip-flopping, bro? You're done, bro. Goodbye. See you. Into the unknown you go. Okay? Don't come out here spinning your fucking lies, bro. Seriously, man. You're done, bro. You're trying to spin a web of lies that's incorrect. I don't got time for people like you, bro. And literally people in the comment have been asking me to get rid of you. Your wish is my command. He is gone once again. I told you to shut the fuck up. You wanted to keep pushing your lying narrative, bro. You're gone. You're done. Peace out. Don't tell me I'm flip-flopping when I'm telling people what I'm hearing from sources. Okay? Retard. Yo, what's going on, EM?
Sorry about that, bro.
No, it's all good.
Man, come on. Here we go. Here we go. Man, just ignore the nonsense, bro. Ignore the noise.
Bro.
You know what you said. The receipts are out there, man. You know what your position is. Don't listen to the outside noise, bro.
bro.
It's all good.
So stop trying to stir nonsense in my comments. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got bigger things to discuss, man. Bigger issues to discuss right now.
So yeah, man. I've been keeping you updated all morning as I've been hearing stuff, bro. We've talked like 3 or 4 times today already. Just tell the people what you're thinking on everything.
Well, initially, bro, I never, we've had this conversation, multiple times publicly and privately. A lot of people were feeling like this story was dead, months ago. And I just could not bring myself to put this story to bed because of the consistent conversations that were being had from independent, people that are not affiliated with the Dolphins in any way or South Florida. These are like people from different platforms, national platforms that I follow over the years, and they have been accurate on a lot of issues in the past. And these certain individuals have quietly said the Dolphins there remains a high level of intrigue with this player. And so I never could just put a nail in the coffin, bro, with this story. And from obviously the player perspective, because I feel at this point in time, Watson is clearly an upgrade to Tua Tagovailoa. I know this is rubbing a lot of our fan base the wrong way, but I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You can stay in your feelings if you like. It's up to you. But he's clearly the upgrade. He's only 2.5, maybe 3 years older than Tua. And I can see why the Dolphins are intrigued with him, because they feel like they've constructed a team, a roster that they feel like they can be highly competitive and win with now. And just to be honest with you, Tua's just not at that point yet to where you can lean on him and hang your hat on him and know what level he can get to. He's just not there yet. So, and also going back to March, if you believe the reports quietly, what was reported, you have heard that, I've heard that from other people, from other individuals. The trade was agreed upon. They were just waiting for the league year to open up, and then this story drops. Yep. So if you're sitting here now, okay, if the trade got that close just 2.5, 3 months ago, or however long it was when they agreed upon the trade, well, what you have to ask yourself, what changed? Well, what changed was that this is what I think is what happened. I think the NFL told all parties involved to put this on the shelf and let the situation play out, because think about the climate, this Me Too climate that we're in now, highly sensitive to, and we should be on many levels, but highly sensitive to issues, like this. And like I said, as a society, as a culture, we should be. So I think the NFL told all parties involved, put this on the shelf, wait and let this play out. Let us conduct our investigations. And especially make sure this doesn't enter the criminal realm. And it hasn't, last time I checked, I haven't heard anything criminally related. Potentially this couldn't escalate to a criminal situation on any level. Mm-hmm. So I think
they're investigating. Even the Houston PD hasn't come out and said we found anything.
Exactly. So I think what happened is they conducted their investigation, and I just think that they haven't found anything of substance enough to levy a heavy fine or put him on an exempt list or suspend him, et cetera, et cetera. And I think what's happened now is, I think probably an agreement. I'm outside. I'm sorry, reason if that noise is annoying, but these people are driving by. But I think what's happened now is that agreement is close. And, there's been reports, over the last couple of weeks to a month saying that agreement in terms of a dollar amount has been agreed upon. The issue was that Watson wanted the details of the situation made public. The counterparts don't. So that, to me, again, we'll get to that, I'm sure, at some point. But to me, that speaks volumes as far as, whether he's guilty or not. Because if you're guilty, why would you want that information made public? You'd be trying to do something contradictory to that, in my opinion. So anyway, make a long story short, I think this is where we are now is that the civil issue with this case is about to be resolved. And I think the NFL hadn't found anything enough to really levy anything substantial in terms of suspension, exempt list, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the Dolphins, they have remained interest. I think the interest is mutual. That's just my opinion. I'm not hearing that. I'm just going off, my personal opinion. I think the mutual interest has been consistent between Deshaun Watson and the Miami Dolphins, and I think we might be at a situation where we might see this trade happen here in the next couple weeks, bro.
Now, Florida-born, Kentucky grown, he donates $2 and he says, "Do we have the cap space for Watson? If you trade X, you have more than enough because I think Watson only has a $10 million cap hit. It's next year is when the cap goes up for him." From what I understand, right? Like he jumps up to like 40+ million next year. But just to begin with, we've got right now as the roster sits, we've got like 60 million in cap space next year. So you could take that trade on basically. And I want to clear something up. Canberra Dolphin, an agreement to settle his admission of guilt. Do we want this guy? See, here's the thing. It's not necessarily an admission of guilt if money can make the whole situation go away instead of prolonging the process of proving your innocence, and then you miss a year of football and you miss all the paychecks.
And reason that goes back to my point, which is why he's an insistent upon the details of the case be made public. That's why, because he knows this is his objective in his person, Deshaun Watson, in time away from the game that he loves. He's potentially lose money, whatever. He doesn't want to do that. Who would want to do that? No. I think in order to make this go away, sooner rather than later, he's going to have to pony up, because if he continues to fight this situation in court, it's going to be a long drawn out process, right? Yeah. And he's not going to be able to play during that time. He just won't.
Yeah.
And this is a situation where I could see him. He's coming up with a dollar amount to make it go away, but he wants the details be made public in case if he's exonerated and he really didn't do anything wrong. There's no PR game to be played here. There's none. So I know a lot of people feel like, well, he's gonna, it's gonna be a big PR nightmare he's gonna have issues with females, and no, he's not. If he hasn't been convicted of anything, of any wrongdoing, bro, there's no PR game to navigate around in this situation. Yeah. So no, that's why he's doing that.
And just for clarity, Deshaun Watson has a cap hit of $15.94 million this year. It jumps up to 40.4 the year after, 42.4 in 2023, down to 37.4 in 2024, and then 32 million in 2025 with no dead cap in 2025. So if you include X in that trade, and you've already got 5 million cleared, about 5.46 million right now cleared up, you include X, you've got more than enough to take on that cap hit this year. So, I mean, the other thing, too, you got to realize here, bro, is even if he settles, I guarantee you details will leak.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he's in the clear. Like, if the details are positive for Deshaun Watson, because this is what other people need to realize, EM, and I know me and you have had the conversation. Okay, we know Philly wants him, right? We know the Miami Dolphins want him, right? And the other teams that have been rumored that make sense for him, okay? Like, I've been a proponent that the Washington football team should be trying to move heaven and earth to bring over Deshaun Watson, because they would dominate the NFC East for 10 years, okay?
I would agree.
And you think this is what I'm not saying you, but I'm just like rhetorical question. You really think these NFL teams haven't hired their own investigators to pry, prod, and poke into the situation to see what they can find out?
Exactly.
These teams are doing their own homework. They're not relying on just the NFL to do their own work, right? Because they need to make an educated decision on if they can make a move or a play for a guy like this. Because you know what? If there was details that hadn't been released that could backfire in that team's face, they need to know about it.
Exactly.
Just like if there's details that prove his innocence, they need to know about it because it makes it an educated decision.
I don't know why people, man, are people that freaking sensitive, bro, in their feelings to where they're just the rush to judgment and automatically convict him in a court of public opinion. When uh, I just don't get that, bro. I really want to know what fuels that. You know what I mean? People are calling. I mean, we all remember, bro, when the story dropped, bro, they were crucifying him, absolutely crucifying him. And I was like, bro, that's irresponsible for anybody to take that approach. Just let the situation play out. Let all facts be presented, okay, and then you formulate your opinion. But the fact that the NFL now, and we all know how proactive they are to put players on the exempt list and have out and hand out heavy fines and suspensions, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that this story has been going on this long and they've done nothing. So there's no confusion for me. I think what's happened, they just haven't found enough to, to punish him in any way. Well, I'm not going to say anyway, but they had enough, anything substantial enough to levy out any kind of heavy type of penalties or fines now again, this is still an ongoing process that hadn't been concluded yet. But as far as right now, that this story has been going on and nothing has happened, bro, nothing. No, bro, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, bro, could it be, and you still have people saying that are still crucifying this man, calling him a rapist and, want to put him in this, cast him in this negative light, bro, when you have nothing to substantiate that type of, response to him. And I just don't get it. Are people really in their feelings, bro? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Rhonda says, as a woman, I don't like we are considered as non-truthful. This is why, and EM can attest to this. What has my stance been this whole time? It's been, you got to take what the women are saying at face value, but at the same time, Deshaun Watson is innocent until proven guilty. So it's really a double-edged sword. You got to believe the women, but you also can't be crucifying Watson because nothing's been proven yet.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I get what everyone says about, would 22 women really come together and lie? I don't know. That's the best answer I can give you. I don't know. I haven't read the court documents. Like, they haven't been released to all these stories haven't been released to the public. Like,
but guess who has?
But these women could be telling the truth. It's just their truth doesn't indict him in rape or doesn't indict him in forced sexual assault. It could just be he overstepped boundaries.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because he has a fetish. Exactly. I don't know. Like, at the same, like I said, you can't call these women liars, but you can't sit here and call Watson guilty because neither one has been proven. Yep. I mean, I hate to sit on the fence because you know me, I never sit on the fence. But what else can you do? I'm not about to sit here and call a group of people a bunch of liars and call an individual a rapist when I don't know all the facts, when neither side has been proven to be truthful, or untruthful. I'm not going to jump to conclusions on that. I mean, that's just going to make me look foolish if I get proved the other way.
Yeah.
The dude, $3, he says, can we put the Rodgers rumors to bed now? I don't think Aaron Rodgers was coming here, bro. I think the play was going to be, if it was a quarterback, it was going to be Deshaun Watson because of his age. I don't think they were going to give up Tua at his age for a 38-year-old quarterback.
I agree.
With how Rodgers has handled the Packers situation, you don't know if he's going to jump out on you or not in a year or two. You know what I mean? And at the same, here's where my and this is where my conflicted stuff. Like in the broad spectrum of things, here's where I sit. I do not think Deshaun Watson makes us an instant Super Bowl contender. And it has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. It has everything to do with the offensive line and the running back room around him. Now, do I think he makes us a playoff contender? 110% yes. Okay. Do I think it would be premature and a waste of a 5th overall draft pick and essentially resources that we've highlighted to move off Tua this early? Yes, 110%. But the same point is, and I've said this before, Deshaun Watson is a proven commodity. With Tua Tagovailoa, because of the status of his health last year, you do not know what his floor, let alone his ceiling, is going to be in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's a proven commodity versus an uncertainty. So, like I've said from the beginning, when all these rumors hit, if the trade makes sense and you win the trade, you make the trade. And because of everything that's gone down, Deshaun Watson's price is not what it was back in February when all these rumors of him wanting out begun. This is not there. The only way it's there is if he gives a list of teams he's willing to accept a trade to, and he signs that piece of paper, so that makes him legally binding of being okay to any trade of any team, and you get a bidding war. That's the only way that the price is going to go through the roof, which I personally think we would then back out of. Because it goes back to what you said. Exactly why we didn't draft a quarterback. They're not desperate for an upgrade, but the fact of the matter is this is a top 3, top 5 quarterback that is an upgrade. 29, 25 other teams in the NFL should be seriously considering this move. Right? Like, so
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like,
But some reason, we talked about that. If they go this route and Tua is traded away, he's included. Initially, we both were in agreement that, well, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, you selected this kid fifth overall. Again, going back to maximizing resources. I thought about this earlier. I said, well, I got to offer a little pushback with that now, because if you trade Tua, that 5th overall pick for Watson, in essence, it's like you're drafting Watson. You know what I'm saying? Without drafting him, because you're trading that asset, that 5th overall pick, that asset Tua Tagovailoa for him. So it's a wash. You know what I'm saying? In terms of resources. So
see, but here's the thing, EM. You've heard publicly, and I've told you what I've heard privately, which kind of doesn't jive with what my one source said today. We've heard they want defensive pieces, that they don't necessarily want Tua. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard that they're happy with Davis Mills.
I think, well, I don't see. I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Who's that management guy you talk about? The former Patriot guy.
I keep forgetting his freaking name, bro.
Let me look him up.
I always forget his name, dude. But I know you're talking about. I don't see why they wouldn't be interested in Tua.
Jack Easterby.
I don't know why he wouldn't, considering what they have on the roster. Okay, you might be high on this guy. You spent a 3rd round pick, but he's a 3rd round pick for a reason. I think Tua is a much better, a better prospect than this kid. I don't see why you wouldn't be, intrigued with Tua. Considering what you have him, you've got Tyrod Taylor in-house. So I don't buy that they're not interested in Tua, bro. I just, I never have when I heard that initially, but I could be wrong.
Jack Easterby is now the executive vice president of football operations for the Houston Texans. He was the one that they brought to New England during the Aaron Hernandez stuff to be a character coach. And remember, before that, he was with the Kansas City Chiefs as a chaplain. So he's a religious guy, right? It would make sense that he wants Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, man. I don't see why they wouldn't be. That could just be posturing. You know what I mean? It's all. That story could have been leaked deliberately just to try to drive up the price, or it could. Who knows, bro? But just from a football perspective, they should be, interested in Tua Tagovailoa. They should be. There should be a high level of interest with him.
Let me ask you this. We keep talking about expectations. If they do not meet expectations, even with Tua on the roster, we think in the next year or two heads will roll. Okay. Are those expectations ramped up if you acquire Deshaun Watson?
Well, for sure, and they should. I think if you have an upper echelon type of player at that position, expectations, should be at the highest. You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, that's the most important position in football and all of American sports, period. So, and especially if you've spent the amount of resources that the Dolphins have spent in terms of free agency dollars as well as draft pick capital, the last 2 or 3 years, absolutely, the expectations should be extremely high. So, but in terms of like, well, whether they get a quarter, if they get a Super Bowl or not, they'll be fired or what. I can't go there because if you're fielding the objective is to field a highly competitive team consistently out on the field on Sundays. So if the Dolphins, from a coaching, if I'm Stephen Ross and if we don't get to the Super Bowl in 2 to 3 years, now the expectation will be there. You heard Stephen Ross, his interview last week. He said he expects to be hoisting that trophy very, very soon. So yeah, the expectation should be there. But if you're a coach, if you're an owner, I'm gonna put my Stephen Ross hat on right now because it's extremely difficult to win it all. It's extremely hard to win it all. But if Flores and Greer are putting a highly competitive team out there, in other words, we know how great Andy Reid is. We know how great Patrick Mahomes is, right? They're considered the gold standard in NFL right now.
Yeah.
And if you're consistently competitive, you're getting to the second round, you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, you get bounced out, or the AFC Championship game, you get bounced out. If you're competitive in that regard, I don't think Flores I don't think he should be fired. Now, if they are like if they're a borderline playoff team, if they're and God help him if they don't make the playoffs for some reason, God help him. But if they're highly competitive, or if they're one of the top 5 teams in the AFC, bro, I don't see how you just fire a coach. You know what I'm saying? Now I get because you look at like your Marvin Lewis, the coaches that have been unsuccessful in terms of winning Super Bowls, but they fielded competitive teams. They wind up being coaches for what, 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 years, sometimes longer. I can't. Marvin Lewis, several coaches. Andy Reid. Look at Andy Reid before he just won one 2 years ago. But when he was at Philly, he always fielded a competitive team. So I think I can't say that definitively, but the expectation should be they should be Super Bowl. They should be on that Super Bowl level because you have a top 4, top 5 player at that position, and you have a extremely competitive roster that you've assembled the last 2 years. So I think the addition of Watson, immediate upgrades, obviously the offense, and I think overall the team will be elevated by the presence of Deshaun Watson. I just think he's that player right now at 25 years old. So we'll see how that will. Stephen Ross might see things differently, and he might be telling them, "Look, if I sign off on this trade, we better have a Super Bowl in 2 years." He might have told them that. He might have had that conversation. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I can't say that from my perspective.
I said this to you when we talked one of our times today. I said, listen, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm hitting up X. And I'm saying, listen, bro, I will restructure my contract next year so you can and make sure they pay you. Stay. I will make sure that Miami is the only place I want to go and the only place I sign off to. Pigeonhole them so they do not give up X. Because Deshaun Watson coming here, his chances of winning are a lot higher with a player like Xavien Howard on this defense than Noah Benogany starting. Because me and you have talked about this. If you trade X, the pressure mounts on Tua and the offense as a whole to produce more because, he provided his 10 interceptions, 10 extra turnovers we wouldn't get, and we scored 3 touchdowns. That's 21 points and 2 field goals off 10 of those possessions. So 5 of those 10 we turned into points. That's 27 extra points our offense would have to score. That would, that could be the difference between Watson having to throw 4,000 yards to
Mm-hmm.
4,700 yards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I would
5,000
agree. I would
yards. You
agree
know what I mean?
100%.
So, you know, is that something you agree with? That if you're the Dolphins, you know what I mean? You want this to get pigeonholed where you're the only option he wants to come to, so you can try and make X happy and not be part of that deal and have him play out the contract. Because let's be honest, if X were to stay, even if he's unhappy to start game one, but you have a winning season where you have a deep playoff run,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that might change X's opinion about sitting down and working out a new deal after
Mm-hmm.
this season if he doesn't have a new deal by game one. What do you think?
I would agree 100%. I'm in complete agreement with that scenario. Matter of fact, if if I'm Watson, I'm telling the Dolphins, look, if I'm coming there, you better keep Xavien Howard. Please keep Xavien Howard. We all know the player. We all know what he brings. We all know to a large degree this defense is built around Xavien Howard. And I just think if you're able to come out of this, if this now, let's be clear, this hasn't been cemented yet. This is just pure speculation. But if the Dolphins are able to come out of this situation and they are able to keep Xavien Howard in addition to trading for Deshaun Watson, I am telling you right now, the floor, I think this is a serious team. AFC Championship game could be the floor for us. I truly believe that.
Even
Considering
with this
how we up,
offensive line?
I do think so, bro. I think, cause see, we talked about this privately. Sure, if this offensive line, sure, they have to improve. The expectation is to get better with any player, with any unit on this team. But I look at where Deshaun Watson was in Houston. Okay, the lines that he had were like historically bad, for the 3 to 4 years he's been in the league, right? Which is why they had to give up so much to make that trade for Laramie Tunsil. And I look at Deshaun Watson, the athlete, from an athletic standpoint, his ability to evade trouble consistently, to extend plays using his legs, to not only extend plays in, trying to make plays down the field, but his ability to run. And that's one of the most improvements, one of the biggest things I wanted to see improvement into his game was this year. He needs to look to make plays with his legs when the opportunity presents itself. And Watson has consistently been doing that since he came into the league. So I think just his physical ability will offset some of the limitations that we have or instability that we have up front. And also, we highlighted the speed elements that are incorporated now in this wide receiver room. Okay, we talked about this, on this platform and others about how it's so difficult now for teams to scheme against us because of those deep threats. Well, now Watson is probably arguably the top 2 or 3 best deep ball thrower in the entire league. Okay, so in terms of teams just being able to pin their ears back consistently and come after us and just bring pressure from the start, from game one, teams will not be able to do that. Period. There's still some uncertainty whether or not Tua can consistently be, forced, consistent, be a threat, in terms of distributing the football down the field. And that's not an issue with Deshaun Watson. So I think that, in addition to his physical ability, that will go a long way to offset a lot of the instability of what we have up front. And again, it'll ultimately help the running game as well, bro. So I don't think that's going to be as big of an issue as some people think. So we'll see if he's traded here. We'll see how that unfolds. But look at what he had in Houston. He did, those lines were like, bro, again, that's why they had to make that trade and pony up that kind of, surplus of capital for Laramie Tunsil. They were historically bad. And this dude has made the Pro Bowls 3 of the last 4 years. And he just entered that that first tier realm last year. I mean, his numbers are staggering. So without the threat of a running game, we know, and we've continuously talked about what we didn't have in terms of the run game, the last 2 or 3 years. So he's doing that. He's showing you what he can do, with a lot less talent that he had to work with in Houston relative to what we have now in Miami. No threat of the run game, instability in terms of the pass protection up front, and he's performing at all pro level. I don't think that'll be as big of an issue, bro.
I don't know.
Just saying, man. I just, again, we all love Tua. We just talked about this a few hours ago. Nobody loves Tua Tagovailoa. I want to see him develop just for him personally. I want to see him achieve. I want to see him maximize his potential that we all, you, me, and others in his community think he can reach. But at the end of the day, bro, it's business. This is the National Football League. This is business first. And as of right now, man, from a business perspective, to enhance this team, to get this team where we need to be, the play to make now is to make this trade if you're the Dolphins, bro. It makes too much sense on too many levels. I understand people are mostly tied to Tua. I get it. I understand that. And I know people hate me for it. And that's fine. You can keep shooting them arrows at me. That's fine. But at the end of the day, bro, my loyalty has been consistently and will always I will be loyal to this logo. In any way we can enhance this team and we can be playing on Wild Card Sunday, I'm all for it. Any player can go. Any player can go if it enhances this team. And you would be, if you're sitting here and you're trying, I see a lot of fans on other platforms, Twitter, other YouTube platforms or whatnot, social media platforms, are literally trying to make an argument that from a football perspective, they're trying to make an argument that Tua Tagovailoa is a better player than what Deshaun Watson is. You are, to each and every one of you, I'm saying to you, you are an idiot for that. And you know how toxic the conversations get when you're on an opposite, when you're coming with a different perspective than what they are. And it's ridiculous. From a pure football standpoint, there's no conversation to be made here. None. So I say to all of y'all, get out of your feelings, bro. If you are a true Dolphin fan, not a Tua Tagovailoa fan, not a Raekwon Davis fan, not a Devontae Parker fan, if you are a true Dolphin fan, this is the move to make from a football perspective. And it's disgusting to see these people trying to come up here and argue the point that Tua, in any way, any metric you want to use to gauge, to determine, what level a player is at. There's nothing you can use to justify keeping Tua at this point. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So with that being said, bro, it just makes it makes too much sense on too many levels. And, if the Dolphins make this move, I think it greatly enhances our chance. I think a lot of concerns we've discussed privately, will not eliminate all of them, but it would definitely significantly, it would make things, a lot of that anxiety will go away. So I don't know what else to say, Dolphin fans, Dolphins community. Again, this hadn't been cemented yet. I'm looking, it hadn't been a breaking news ticker, announced yet. The Dolphins trading for Deshaun Watson. This has not been cemented, but I think the conversation is real. I think it's been real, and I think it's a possibility. I think he's going to get dealt. That's not a question. He ain't gonna be in Houston too much longer. He's on borrowed time right now. But the question is where he's going.
Florida Born says, "We love you, EM. No hate here."
Man, much respect, homie. Much respect, bro.
And Hammer says, Phinside the NFL. When you said if you were a Washington football team, I would be moving heaven and earth to sign Watson, I was in agreement. But then I started to think of the PR nightmare.
I say again, reason if the man once the investigation is concluded and there's no wrongdoing found, what PR issue what needs to be navigated around? There's no PR issue. There's only people there's only fandom, there's only casual fans, there's only people leaning in their feelings that don't want to make this trade happen because of their emotional ties to Tua Tagovailoa. That's it. There's no PR issue. None. Which is, again, goes back to what I said, why Watson and his team are insistent upon making the details of this case made public. So I don't get that. I don't get that.
I think, it's like people in the comments are trying to say to you, someone's trying to say to you, that that because of well, the one difference they have is one's in legal trouble, the other one's not, in terms of Tua and in terms of compared to
put the
Watson.
comments up there. Put the comments up there. That's fine.
Well, no,
I
mean, there's no, and just so I'm going to make the announcement, Pete, I'm going to be unblocking you. I'm trying to unblock you right now, but it looks like I'm going to have to do after the show. This will be your third chance now. I give you 4 warnings today. I will give you a third chance now. And we'll play the old 3 strikes. You're out permanently. But I will be unblocking you. So you can come back in your comments. You can say your piece. So, because I'm a nice guy.
Oh,
but I'm looking right now. I'm trying to unblock him right now. But he's not even. I know he's blocked, but he's not even showing up as blocked right now. So I will unblock him, though. I guess I have to wait till after the stream to unblock him.
Yeah.
So
man, Pete, don't come in here with that foolishness, bro. Stop. Don't do it. We can engage.
I got no problem engaging because sometimes he actually does ask good questions.
When is that? What episode is it?
There you go. I found him.
I'm trolling.
I can take him out. No, lately he's actually Pete, you're officially unblocked. Welcome back.
I'm trolling, bro.
Lately he's actually no, I gotta give him love because lately he actually has asked some good questions. But don't come in here and start spinning lies and then changing your narrative on me.
And misquoting.
Bro.
That infuriates me more than anything, bro, is the lying and the misquoting, bro. When they do that. I hate that, bro. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so Pete, you're officially unblocked. Welcome back. 3rd time's the charm, hopefully, for you. It's one thing to disagree. It's another thing to start spinning narratives using stuff that isn't truthful. I'm not going to stand for that. And I would hold anyone else to that same standard, bro. But the only reason I'm giving you another chance is because a part of me actually likes you, Pete. So I'm giving you another chance, bro.
You know what? I feel the same way, Reason. I can't. Even when, Pete and I, we've had our issues publicly. We all know that Pete and I have not always seen eye to eye. But at the end of the day, man, I can't stay mad at Pete for too long. Some of y'all, I really would love to meet you face to face where I can put hands and feet on you. But Pete, for some reason, bro, to be honest with you, I can't stay mad at Pete, bro. I think Pete fundamentally is a good dude, bro. He just, we're just on the opposite sides of the spectrum in regards to Tua and a lot, in our team as well for the most part. So, and that's fine. We cannot agree. You and I, we don't agree on everything, bro. People should, bro, if we made some of our private conversation how spirited they get, bro, well, we've had spirited debates publicly as well. So y'all know what time it is, but we can still reason not, that doesn't change our relationship, bro. So we can all agree to disagree. We can engage, have spirited engagement. But ultimately, we want the dialogue to be healthy. And the only way it's not healthy unless it gets very toxic and, threatening and all that. And I engage in that too as well, as a reaction. But we can all learn from that. We should grow up and learn from that.
Scott Garcia, Pete getting more chances than the Dolphins giving Tua.
Man, that's funny.
Pete, I still love you, bro, but just don't be spinning your webs, bro. I'm not here to play fucking Charlotte's Web with Pete, all right? So you're welcome back in the comments, and you're welcome back up here if you want to ever come up here, Pete. Shout out to Ricky Butts, new member, appreciate you. Someone called me soft. I think it was Craig Justice called me soft, bro. I got a soft spot for Pete, bro. Part of me wants us all to get along, bro. So,
you know what? The only way we're gonna get along, bro, unless this team turns it around and becomes a consistent winner.
Yeah, but you know what's gonna happen if that happens with Tua? I'm not even necessarily saying me and you. American Patriot, I don't block people for their opinions. He wasn't giving an opinion. He was actually telling something that wasn't truthful. So don't get it twisted. I don't block people for opinions. I block people if they're aggressive, derogatory, or if they're lying. you know, like the thing is, and I'm not even saying me and you would, bro. If we start winning with Tua, all these people are going to be coming for Pete's throat in the comments, bro. He's going to be having to do damage control. Like 95% of the time he comes into these chats. Cap for Life says it's a love-hate relationship as long as we agree on winning a Super Bowl. That's all that matters.
But to be honest with you, if we didn't have disagreements, I mean, you know,
appreciate you, Ricky.
A lot of these platforms, a lot of these shows would be boring, bro.
Would be boring.
You know what I mean? I mean, they'd be non-existent. So I embrace the spirit of debates. I do. I love it. I actually, I look for it. So
hanging with RC, Rhonda. Rhonda, go ahead, plug your channel in the comments, fam. You've always been a massive supporter. Go ahead, plug your channel all you want, man. I don't care. I like you. So I'm down with you, Rhonda. And don't worry, Rhonda. Don't worry, Rhonda. If you ever want to come on the channel, when it comes to donations, I won't skim anything off the top.
my shots fired. Wow.
Oh man, and you know what? Rhonda's probably sitting there like, what are they saying? Don't worry, Rhonda, it's not against you, it's against someone else.
Yeah. Shots fired.
Senator.
Somebody is somewhere punching air right now, bro. I guarantee you. I guarantee
Senator 305 just became a member. Appreciate you for joining Phinside the NFL. But yo, Rhonda, go ahead, plug your channel. I got no problem, man. I'll definitely support you in anything you're doing. So, okay, back to this sense. Okay, I told you exactly who some of my sources were today that I was hearing stuff from, right? You know how legit that source is that told me he believes he's going to be on the exempt list. Like, do you understand my confusion of how I'm getting pulled in all these different directions? Where
I get it. I get it, Reason. I understand. I heard you say that earlier. But I'm more on the side of I'm watching the NFL, their position, and how long this issue has been a story, and they've done nothing. I just have to lean on that, bro. This has been a story for what? I don't know how long, and they have done nothing. They've interviewed these women, okay? They've been presented all the detail, all the intel relative to this case, and they've done nothing. Again, this could all change. You know, we could hear tomorrow, well, John Watson being placed on the exempt list, something came up, whatever. But as of right now, I'm on the side of, bro, they've done nothing, and I don't think that he will be. If something is done from a, if he is issued any kind of punishment, it won't be heavy. It'll be something that's, it won't be heavy, I don't think. I just think that's what's going on here. They haven't found enough, they haven't found enough of anything to, I think they're sitting there just like, I mean, could it be that they just didn't find anything, bro? And I'm telling you, how proactive Roger Goodell is. I mean, Tom Brady, look at how he's put his foot in Tom Brady's behind with that Deflategate situation. I mean, we can go down the line of cases. Zeke Elliott, you had Jerry Jones fighting, willing to take him to the Supreme Court, right? How proactive they were to get players and punish them and levy out punishment and fines or whatnot. And they've done nothing. So I'm more inclined to believe, bro, there's just not much of anything there from enough of them to really lean on him in any way, bro. I just don't. I just think if by now, considering how long this has been an issue, something would have surfaced, and then he would have been he'd have been dealt with accordingly. But I just think that's what's going on, bro.
And like me and you've been talking, like Dolphins acquiring him aside. Me and you've just been talking on the situation isn't it just odd how quiet it's been? And like I've had the same conversation with Klump. Like, isn't it just like because the NFL is notorious for moving before guys are even proven guilty in criminal court or wherever the case may be, right?
Exactly,
like they're notorious for bringing the hammer down, without even a ton of evidence, but just enough to show that, okay, something went down. Like in every circumstances, they haven't even needed a Ray Rice video. You know what I mean? To bring it down.
Yeah. Like I said, bro, I just, and it could all change. I could be totally off base. I could be totally wrong. We could wake up tomorrow and see, the announcement on Get Up or whatever program, you choose to watch. Hey, Deshaun Watson been placed on the exempt list. He has been suspended for whatever. That could change. But as of right now, we're talking about the pros. They have done nothing. And I think that speaks volumes for what they actually have, what they found.
Yeah.
I just think it's not much of anything, bro. So
what does your gut? What does your gut tell you? Okay, let's say this. Let me ask you this. I got a couple questions. One, if he's going to be put on the exempt list, they start practice on Wednesday. So would you see it happening in the next 72 hours? A. B, if he doesn't go on the exempt list, how far into camp do you see him being dealt? Because if the reports are true that they're ready to move off of him and life after Deshaun Watson, aren't they going to try and deal with it as quickly as possible so it's not a distraction during camp?
Oh, absolutely. They should. That should be the move. That should be the move to make if you're the Texans. If he's not placed on the exempt list, I think, bro, I think within, I can't say 72 hours. I can't really
I said 72 hours if he's going to go on the exempt list.
Oh, okay.
If they're going to put him on the exempt list, you don't see it happening later than Tuesday because practice starts Wednesday. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Yeah, I think, bro, if there's no punishment to give out, I think this gets wrapped up relatively quickly. To me, from a football perspective, I don't think that's the issue. It's just officially the legal matter getting resolved. I think once everybody knows, everybody signs off on everything, all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted, and it's the criminals, the legal issue is resolved. I think the football aspect of it gets because I think, bro, to be honest with you, even though this has been going on and it's been quiet, nothing of substance has been reported, but bro, through back channels, I think, bro, the negotiations have been ongoing by all parties.
What do you think about what Armando says?
What do you
say? But
the
NFL, this is a good point. But the NFL also didn't find nothing during the concussion studies. It's all about money right now.
Well,
because Watson's an earner, right? Watson's good for ratings.
Bro. Okay, yeah, that might be true, but the NFL alone, see, that's why the NFL promotes the logo as opposed to individuals for the most part, because it'd be different. It was like the NBA. Everything is centered around the individual player, LeBron James. So from a league perspective, you'd be more inclined to, you don't want to hurt your bottom line, but
wow.
I just think the NFL, bro, I don't think that theory is as big of an issue as it is in the NFL, like it is the NBA or other sports that individualize their athletes. And I think the NFL, no matter whether Deshaun Watson plays or he doesn't play this year, that bottom line is going to be there no matter what. They've proven that over the years, bro. So I don't buy into that narrative about, well, Watson brings in money. The NFL might be more inclined to sweep this under the rug. No, bro. People are going to show up and pay them tickets. They're going to buy the paraphernalia. They're going to buy the jerseys. They're going to buy the flip-flop, everything, no matter who's out there. So that narrative I don't buy that in regards to the NFL for the most part. So, no, I got to disagree with that.
Shout out to Todd. He just made $100 donation.
Todd,
Todd Beards. He said, reason, love your show. This is in honor of Tua remaining our quarterback. Shout out to you, Todd. You already did enough by linking me up with Omar. Now you're donating to the channel like this. I appreciate you, homie. And you know what? Here's the thing. Because people keep asking me, what's my stance on it? and I'm going to be very clear, and EM knows this. I want Tua to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins heading into 2021. I want to see, EM knows, I've said to him, I want at least one season at 100% so we can gauge what his floor and ceiling is going to be. EM knows this. EM knows because I actually preferred that this Watson stuff drags out to his deposition in February, and then we gauge the situation after 1 year with Tua, which, again, I believe we should be giving 2 or 3 years, but okay, I get why Flores and Greer feel they're in win now mode with this roster, okay? And with the expectations that have arrived. I get that. Is Watson an upgrade from Tua? Yes, you can't argue it because Tua, like I said before, because we had what the sample size we had last year, we only, he's at 60% if you believe Nick Hicks, which I do. We couldn't gauge his floor. We couldn't gauge his ceiling. With Deshaun Watson, he's a proven commodity, and you understand what his ceiling is, okay? You know what he can provide at the position. You know he can provide you 4,000-plus yards. You know he can throw for 40 touchdowns and run for a couple other ones, okay? You know all of that. But I think it's premature. I kind of think it's a little unjustified on how and unfair with the short end of the stick that Tua's getting, like in the sense of how are they ready to move off Tua so quickly, yet Joe Burrow put up similar stats, threw 104 more times, and tore every letter in the alphabet in his leg, and the Cincinnati Bengals aren't in on him. And this goes back to what EM said. EM said there must be some kind of disconnect between Flores and Tua, which I get. We've already gone over it. Flores was a pro Herbert guy. Flores, he from what I've been told, he doesn't like how Tua's been shoved down his throat. I get that. Flores isn't totally sold on Tua. So I get that Tua, Flores is pushing his narrative. I get it. I don't agree with it. I think 9 games at the percentage of health Tua's at is very premature. And I also hate, and I'm going to give Rosen some props here, I guess. I also hate how we are the culture that's creating the microwave society in the NFL for the quarterback position. We're doing what we did to Rosen with Tua, and yet Tua flashed much more than Rosen did in 2 years. So I don't like that we're the standard bearers or the standard setters for that. I hate that fact. I despise that fact. And, I think, and I've even said to EM, my worries are we're Dolphin fans. We know how it works. We trade for Watson. Watson gets hurt and Tua goes and balls out. That's just our luck over the last 21 years since we got rid of Marino. So I want to stick with Tua, but I understand why they would want to make the Watson move. And I'm not going to shed tears, but my expectations for Flores in this front office are going to ramp up. And if I don't see an AFC championship in 2 to 3 years, I'm calling for heads. Because you got off especially if Tua is on a Pro Bowl trajectory or an all-pro trajectory. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, let's be honest. With the fan base and even with a guy like Stephen Ross, if he signs off on it, the leash is going to be longer with Tua than it's going to be with Watson, especially if you have to give up assets to win. I'm talking about. Like, the leash is going to be much longer with Tua to get to a Super Bowl or an AFC championship than it's going to be with Deshaun Watson. That's just like a fact. Because everyone knows in their mother, Deshaun Watson is a clear upgrade.
Right.
Especially if you keep Xavien Howard somehow. Then, the leash is much shorter for Watson than it is for Tua. And not with the player, with the guys who make the move and are banging the table for him is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So I want to keep Tua, yes. But I've been consistent with this, EM. You know this. I've been consistent. I want to keep Tua, but if they win the trade, Deshaun Watson's a clear upgrade, It's a business. I understand why they make the move.
I mean, to be honest with you, reason I would love to keep Tua. I would love it. You know, there's something that needs to be said for players that you draft, players that you develop, players that become successful under your tutelage, under your program. That's a huge thing to me, or in a NFL in general. So from that perspective, and also I might add, we would all, who was banging the table more for Tua Tagovailoa in this community, more so than Reason and EM. Yeah, I mean that would definitely,
Yeah, we drove the train, bro. Me and you were the conductors
we
of the
could
Tua
stick our
train.
chests out, and all those haters, exactly, all those haters, we could stick our chests out. But at the end of the day, bro, I have my personal feelings, my about him, and you got to put that, aside. And I'm looking at and I have to put my Dolphin cap on, the logo cap, and keep and leave it on, and evaluate and from that perspective. And again, it's nothing personal with Tua, bro. Absolutely nothing. It never will be. I love that kid. And if he's not in a Dolphins uniform, I will still be rooting for him, and I've told you privately what I think his bigger calling is, but I don't want to put, I want to discuss that on your platform, but I've told you this earlier, as well as, multiple conversations we had about him, what his true calling in life is, but that extend outside of football. But at the end of the day, bro, it's business, man. And from a business perspective, you always got to think about your bottom line. And what affects your bottom line in this league is how successful you are. Whether you win, how successful you win, your bottom line goes up. If you lose, your bottom line decreases. But I think Deshaun Watson, he immediately is the upgrade from a player to player perspective. And I think Watson, the skill set that he has and the player that he's been in this league will immensely enhance his team and put us where we need to be. It's business. It's never been personal, never will be personal. It's just he's the proven commodity, and Tua is not. Period.
All right. So first of all, Todd, appreciate the donation, man. Just
I
turn your
love the
TV.
show, Reason. I love it.
Appreciate you, man. Can you just turn your TV down or whatever in the background? Because I can hear it. I dropped the link for you, but Tyler hopped on, and I can't turn away the homie Tyler. So, because I know she's about to go off right now. No. Hey, yo, you're welcome here. I know she's about to go off right now. So let's see. Look, Todd, I know you said you kind of disagree with the Watson stuff right now. Let's just get your thoughts on all of this stuff.
Well, I unfortunately, it's never going to be an apples to apples comparison because, we have only a 9 games, audition out of Tua, and we know he was at 60%. But, you've got a player, no one's bringing up the fact that it does make a difference that he's on a rookie deal versus Watson's situation. So immediately it's not apples to apples because we do have a 3-year window with Tua to have a better roster and continue to build in other areas. Also, you have to address the fact that Deshaun Watson won 4 games last year. It has to be said. I understand the fantasy stats are great, but you've got to explain to me how a quarterback of his caliber won 4 games. Tannehill never went 4-12 with the Dolphins. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a far worse roster and a worse situation with the Dolphins 2 years ago and went 5-11. Like, you have to explain to me why we're completely disregarding a 4-12 season out of what's supposed to be an elite caliber player. Along with the fact that he played in a division that 2 years ago, Jacoby Brissett, our backup, was the starter for the Colts. The Jaguars were a 1-win football team, the worst team in the league. Mariota started 9 games in Tennessee before they made the switch to Tannehill. I mean, really, he has not had to, and anytime he shows up in the playoffs, it's been a problem. I mean, I'm just not ready to call this guy Aaron Rodgers. Ryan Tannehill has had the same success in that division that Deshaun Watson's had. Similar numbers, similar success.
I can sum it up in basically, it's called having an offense and a defense. It's a team sport. You can't that's why I get frustrated with people when they're propping Tua up and saying Tua, and I've heard you say that as well, Todd, multiple times on this platform. You give the lion's share of the credit to Tua for wins, right? But you don't do that. But in Deshaun Watson's situation, okay, it's and you don't give enough credit to other aspects of the team, special team, defense. You know.
No,
It's
I do, but that's the whole.
Hang on. It's a team
you're
sport.
Right. I apologize.
It's a team sport, right? So he can only control what he can control when he's on the football field. And their offense was performing at a top 10 clip last year. He was top in the upper tier of players at his position statistically. That's all he can control. So it's a team sport. There are two other elements to a team. And if you're inferior in those other two areas, I don't care what numbers you have offensively, you're not going to be very successful from a team perspective, bro. So I get extremely frustrated when you put in, well, you're blaming Watson. You know, he's 4-12. Tua is 6. No, Tua had support. Tua had help. Watson did not, or you can't just put a lion's share of the credit or blame on one individual.
No, but you had a situation where Watson last year's 4-12 season with the Texans was coming off a year with that roster that went to the divisional round of the playoffs, and Tua was on a team whose roster was 5-11. Now you can't tell me that we rebuilt our roster from the 5-11 team that we weren't even really a roster worthy of 5-11. Fitzpatrick propped us up, but we went from maybe the worst roster in football within 1 year. Tua goes 6-3 with that roster, and you're going to forgive Watson as being on a bad team. The team won the division the 2 years prior.
Well, I can say that we were the only ones saying if you go back to the beginning of 2020, we were the only ones saying that this roster the rebuild was over. This is a highly competitive team. We can say that.
EM said they were a playoff team, and I said in my prediction that I think this was a 10-win team as their ceiling.
Right, but we gutted our roster in premium positions. Like, again, we're going to knock Watson's roster. First of all, we got 2 first-round picks and 2 seconds for the left tackle that they now have. They've got the better left tackle than we have. Our wide receiver addition that we're all lauding was Watson's wide receiver last year. You know, and Watson, yes, he had statistically great season, but a lot of that's garbage time. He was required to score 30 points in every game.
That's even more reason why you need to put respect on his name. If defenses know you're a one-dimensional offense, you have no threat of a running game, and a quarterback is being put in a position where he's forced to every single game, every single throw, be as close to perfect as possible, and you come out with statistically a season like he had, that's even more respect you need to put on that man. I don't want to hear that.
Do you think that Watson? Do you think that? Hold on a second. Do you think the offensive personnel on Houston was worse than Miami's last year?
Absolutely.
Well, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Absolutely.
You're insane.
Yeah.
Now, what we have now, I think we have the better support. We have the better personnel.
I'm talking about last year.
Oh, well, no.
Offense was far worse than Deshaun Watson's.
And not only that,
but he did.
Hold on a sec. Because EM's saying that EM's agreeing with you, Todd, that last year Tua had a worse supporting cast. He's saying, but he's saying this year Tua has a better supporting cast.
Oh, without question. And you know what? I'm firmly confident that Tua at the end of this year, this conversation will be over. If you're not saying that, see, here's the problem I have with this argument. If you're a Charger fan, are you supposed to move on from Herbert to Watson?
Because
if you're a Bengal fan, are you supposed to move on? If you're a Jaguar fan, are you supposed to move on? Because if the only metric is Deshaun Watson is more accomplished than Tua, well, of course he is. Tua played 9 games for a shitty roster at 60%, but you have to factor in the totality of it, because Watson's more accomplished than Herbert, Burrow, or Trevor Lawrence, and if you're not willing to move on from them just because their accomplishments don't match Watson's, then don't move on from Tua, because Tua's potential this year, I believe, I'm willing to rate Tua on what I believe he's going to be. I have that much confidence in my ability to scout him and what I believe he's going to be. It's not just what he's shown me. That's not reasonable. If that's the metric,
well,
then Trevor Lawrence, we should just move on for him. They should be willing to trade Tua for Trevor Lawrence because Tua's done more in the NFL than Trevor Lawrence has.
Before I forget, let me address what you said about Justin Herbert. Well, I'm sure this is going to rub a lot of y'all the wrong way. I'm sorry, get over it. But at the end of the day, don't bring up us as Dolphin fans, please. Don't bring up Justin Herbert, please. The man rewrote history. You're going to sit here. The man rewrote history. So stop it.
We're playing fantasy football. The man was the most successful 7-9 quarterback in football.
Hang on. The man is clearly ahead of the curve than what Tua Tagovailoa is. Stop it. Don't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're a fantasy football player, he is. Because they played on the same field. I was there. Tua outperformed him and won the game.
Did Tua not have an elite defense at his disposal?
I don't know if he had an elite defense. Again, Tua played in the context. That's part of why I'm so impressed with Tua did last year, being at 60%, and why I believe ultimately they made the move, because Tua fit that special teams and defense game plan very well because he doesn't turn the ball over and he is efficient. Even if he's prolific, he is efficient.
Well, what if Tua don't? What if? Now this is a big what if. What if Tua doesn't have that elite defense to lean on? What if he doesn't have that elite? Hang on. You think we know Watson is?
No, we don't know that. He went 4-12. No, we don't know that. He went 4-12. That would get everybody fired here. If Tua goes 4-12 this year, people are getting fired.
You know what? See, this is where I lose it. This is where I lose it. This is where I draw the line. This is where I lose it, because I'm telling you, man, you cannot have an your opinion is your opinion. I get that. But it's just extremely frustrating when people are trying to the point.
No, let me just take a deep breath. Great. I'm not knocking him as a player. I just don't think it's a slam dunk to take him on his contract versus Tua, because Tua is going I am completely confident. I don't need to see any more from Tua to know that we have an elite player there. That's
I'll say this. All due respect, Todd. All due respect to you. From what I've known, based off our previous engagements, you're a stand-up guy. But listen, obviously Brian Flores feels different, obviously. And I think the primary reason was fueling the intrigue with Watson, not only the player, but it's the physical ability of Deshaun Watson, because he doesn't have limitations. Tua has limitations. That's just a fact. So, and we've told y'all, we've highlighted on this show, me and Reason, we've had multiple private conversations about coaches' approach to that position. They value elite traits more than anything else. And if you're going to sit up here and try to argue from a physical perspective that Tua is in the stratosphere of Deshaun Watson, bro, I dare you to try.
I dare you. Physically,
no, I didn't say that.
I know. I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anybody, I dare you to try to argue that point. So that's why I think we haven't entered the mental realm. We haven't even discussed the mental of the level that Deshaun Watson is on. He's just an upgrade physically. That's a fact. And based off his play, based off his individual statistics, mentally, he's on another level. We're hoping Tua can get there, but he's there now. So I don't get why y'all routinely try to argue this point.
All right, hold on a sec. Tyler, are you there? Because I know she's breaking up or whatever. She looks like she might be frozen right now. All right. She just backed out. All right. Okay.
Okay, Reason. Just one question for EM then.
Go ahead.
So then, basically, if that's the argument, then the Dolphins should be trying right now to trade Tua for Ryan Tannehill.
No, bro.
Why? Physically, Ryan Tannehill has more tools than Tua, and mentally he's further along. Hold on a sec,
Todd. Let me ask you this. Because this is a conversation me and EM had earlier today. Should Brian Flores even have moved off Ryan Tannehill to begin with?
Well, see, that's the thing. Ryan Tannehill, the problem is there's so many dynamics that go into it. Ryan Tannehill had worn out his welcome in Miami. See, I was a Ryan Tannehill fan. I think Ryan Tannehill's a very good player. I think the Titans use him correctly. It was time to move on in Miami. That's it. Unfortunately, he wasn't getting 8, 9, or 10.
Let me just ask you this. Brian Flores has been on that Patriots team. He's seen Tannehill beat him consistently. Shouldn't that have been more reason for Flores to come in and say, this guy's good, I can make it work?
Yeah, the fan base would never allow that reason. Unfortunately, that's where the business side comes into this. And you go, the Dolphin fans were not willing to take Ryan Tannehill for 9, 10, and 11. They just weren't. At some point as a franchise, you have to hit the reset button because you have to sell it to the fan base. So it was a clean sweep. And again, that's where contracts come into it. Ryan Tannehill, we were in a situation where Ryan Tannehill was making elite money, or not elite money, but, second, third contract money in the NFL. It was time to hit a reset, rebuild the roster, quarterback on his rookie deal, sell the hope and all of that. But again, to not Tua's fit, we always knew we were getting a 6-foot quarterback with a marginal NFL arm, with unbelievable accuracy, elite anticipation, and intangibles. We were never under the impression that he had the physical tools.
Yeah, that we were getting a physical
or Justin Herbert.
We were getting a physical
which I think explains why Flores opted to go with Herbert. Allegedly, he wanted Herbert. That's just the nature. That's just coaches.
Tom Brady's
bro.
more of the prototype physically.
coaches.
Tyler, your connection keeps freezing you out. FYI, just so you know, your internet connection.
So at the end of the day, I don't see, Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry. There's no conversation from my perspective. There's no conversation needs to be had. If you got the resources to make this trade happen, considering where you overall roster wise, you have a roster that can compete at a high level now. There is no hesitation you making this move. You call it a day. You make the trade and call it a day. Period.
Yeah. I like I said, and I'm not disputing Deshaun Watson being a good player. I'm not saying Tua the day they walk on the field is the better player, but I am sold on Tua's career will be every bit as.
How can you be sold? How?
Because the same way people are sold on Trevor Lawrence. So now you're saying we no longer rate players without seeing.
Me and EM actually aren't that sold on Trevor Lawrence.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not. Again, you guys should know if I'm a Tua fan, Trevor Lawrence. Listen, I like Tua's game better than Trevor Lawrence. Again, to me, Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa are the quarterbacks I wanted for the Dolphins.
That's true.
It wasn't Justin Herbert and it wasn't Trevor Lawrence. But my point being,
what about Josh Rosen?
If your argument is we need the player to actually do it before we have any opinion about them, that just defies how this works.
No, what he's saying is this. See, I agree with you on that, Todd, in the sense of, do I think it's premature to move off Tua? Yes. Do I think he should at least be given a season of at 100%, 16 games, so we can at least gauge what his floor and his ceiling might be? Agreed. The issue that we're running into here is the roster that Flores and Greer have assembled. They, like some fans, believe that at this stage on July 25th, 2021, Watson is an upgrade at the position, and they wouldn't be wrong because he's more proven at the position. And they probably think, whether you agree with it, whether I agree with it, whether EM agrees with it, whether Daryl agrees with it, they probably believe the playoffs and a deep run in the playoffs is easier to accomplish in 2021 than with Tua Tagovailoa. Now, that's a projection, just like you and I project Tua's going to ball out this year if they give him the chance.
Right, and what about 2022 and 2023? Like I said, it's not, to me, if Deshaun Watson, listen, that's why Aaron Rodgers, to me, I think, now again, I'm not making the move for Aaron Rodgers, but my point is Aaron Rodgers makes us a Super Bowl contender. Deshaun Watson makes us more
a perennial playoff team
with the Bills for the division.
Yeah, he makes us I've said this to EM. I believe Deshaun Watson, and it's not just Deshaun Watson. Ask EM. I've said because of where our running back room's at and where our offensive line's at, I believe that Deshaun Watson makes us a perennial playoff team.
Right.
And the reason, and I had this conversation with EM earlier, the reason why I believe Rodgers would make us a perennial Super Bowl team is because I think with how shitty our offensive line may be, I think Rodgers is a better and faster processor, so the ball will get out quicker. Like, look what Omar said when he was up here. What did Omar say when he was up here? He praised Fitzpatrick and basically put him in the top 5 in the league in terms of processing. Right? And he said only guys like Rodgers and Brady are better. I think that's the only really knock I have on Watson's game is I don't think his processing is on the level of his athleticism or his arm.
But should it be? He's 25 years old. These guys you just referenced, they're 37 years old.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're wrong.
You've got to take all of it into account.
That's the difference. What I think with this offensive line right now being a Super Bowl contender as opposed to being a playoff.
Are the Dolphins in a better position to continue to build the roster with 2 on his rookie deal versus Watson? That has to factor into it. The other thing is, again, I completely disagree with EM on the fact that the NFL has nothing on Watson. I'm not saying they do have something. I just don't think that their indecision or their inaction means anything as of right now, because I think they've stayed out of it because the Texans are in a precarious situation where they don't want to. It's not right to damage one of the biggest assets that the Texans have when you're uncertain, because he's demanded a trade. The NFL can't devalue him until this is settled. And once you punish him, you have devalued him. The Texans have to be given the opportunity to do the best they can with moving that asset. They have a lot invested in, what was a premier quarterback heading into this situation. But the thing is, no matter what, innocent until proven guilty is 100% true. But that's of consequences, not of public opinion. And the opinion is guided by some common sense. And anybody with a half a brain goes, the fact that an elite premier athlete was finding masseuses on Instagram versus having another option for them sends up a red flag. Now, when you have 22 of them saying that he acted inappropriately once he reached out to them, the fact that he was having masseuses for one time, he was buying them massage tables. This is not typically what common sense tells you an elite NFL quarterback needs to do to get a massage. So public opinion is going to lean on the side of, hey, the impropriety here sounds like it could be a reasonable accusation. So even if but it still may be devoid of criminal activity. And that's the part. It's like, do I want to take a shot with Deshaun Watson, even if he hasn't committed a crime here, if I know he has a proclivity to maybe have a sexual deviant behavior? Can this continue? He didn't commit a crime, but is it the type behavior that I want my franchise quarterback partaking in when he goes along with his judgment? You know what I mean? Because this is a lack of judgment, no matter how you look at it. I mean, putting yourself in a position where, you're in a situation where this can happen is a lack of judgment. And that's something that teams shy away from with their franchise quarterback.
Can I add on to that really quick?
Hold on a sec. 4 P's equal playoff, says Todd. Texans were ranked 31st in run defense and 27th in overall defense, as well as 31st in run offense. And even then, Watson had the Texans to within 1 score losses in 8 games.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, and he was in a division where he got to play the Jaguars twice. And
now they're continue moving the goalposts. Do you think? Let me ask you this: if Tua was in that situation, do you think he could have had the individual statistical season that Watson had?
Statistical, no, but I don't care about that.
Okay.
I don't care about statistics.
That's how you gauge
no, it isn't. That's not how you gauge it. I don't play fantasy football. That's not how I gauge it. I want them to win on a football field.
To be fair, Watson's situation was better than Tua's situation. Tua was coming off with hip injury.
Well, no, to be fair is Watson was also a 4-year veteran in the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
Having to deal with that.
Yeah, also
donates $4.99, says some fans are underestimating Tua's ceiling. Better weapons in the scheme suited to what he does best should produce even more wins.
And also, I can also say that Watson arguably had better weapons around him than Tua.
Yeah, last year that's clear.
No, we already agreed with that.
About,
we already agreed.
But I'm talking about in its totality from a team perspective.
No, I know what you're saying. Like his defense and special teams was clearly not on par to what we have. Like
definitely,
right,
definitely.
No doubt. I agree.
There's a plane flying over. I gotta mute myself.
Okay, Tyler, get him, Tyler.
I'm obviously a little bit hungover, so excuse me. At this point, I don't care anymore. I don't care. It all going to come down to what they do to this time, whether they trade him now or whether the time goes somewhere else. I personally, because what pissed me off is some Dolphins fans saying they can get Deshaun Watson and keep. Excuse my language, but fuck that. If I'm still trade me, I bust ass all season and finally having an off season where I can work get down the defense, I can be able to read the defense, learn the damn playbook to where I'm fixed on it every single week. Just be the best I can be for this team and what these players want me to be, we trade and then I can get back to Deshaun Watson. No, take me somewhere or I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. If I'm doing trade me somewhere else. And I honestly, he will ball out somewhere. Reason, I Brian Flores, like the guy, and if that's for other reasons, not just I just playing for you that believe you on the chance that you didn't have last year just for the season. Yes, Sean Watson is more proven from a point, top 5 quarterback, all that. But I where move on guy didn't come to a good situation last year, couldn't practice any of that, and to move off from that specifically, he wasn't even bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at this point. Is they gonna make the move or not? It's not gonna go away from Sean Watson. So that's what I'm mad on it. This is one I really didn't want him to get drafted to Miami because of this mess right. So
wow.
Happy, but at the same time, the Dolphins talked about.
Yeah.
They make emotional moves like this. They always have a quarterback without building around him to get them to succeed with the people they still for the.
You're breaking up, Tyler. Yeah, I think everyone's at a point where we're getting to the point now with this situation. Either make the move or let's put it this way. And EM knows we've had this conversation. When Omar Kelly came out and said in October that the Miami Dolphins were listening to offers for Xavien Howard, the organization came out and had a statement and refuted them and kind of buried Omar Kelly. Well, we're getting to the point where either throw your nuts on the table and make the trade, or come out and say we are moving forward with Tua Tagovailoa, and there's nothing to these rumors. Because
I would agree.
It's bad enough we're dealing with an unhappy Xavien Howard, and we're dealing with that drama. Now you got all these clouds hanging over the offense and everything we're trying to do in training camp. It's like, how many distractions do they think this team's going to be able to overcome and have a season that's successful and builds on what they had last year? Like, you don't even have to come out and say, we're not trading for Deshaun Watson. All you got to do is come out and say, Tua Tagovailoa is our quarterback for 2021. And we will reevaluate the position like we reevaluate every single position next offseason when we prepare for the draft.
In real
Like,
shit
I'm
reason.
okay with. I don't have a problem with giving him a year, and you give him with Webb knows more than other players on the team because he ran it before in college. Obviously, him and Jalen. Hence why they have chemistry already. At least you're giving him a year to show that he can at least take that jump with these new weapons that you didn't have for him last year.
yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what pissed me off so much. And it's, again, not reason. You get Washington, he'll give you 3 years. Everybody in trade for Washington to be gone. Everybody.
Yeah. Daryl,
Just
you were gonna ask a question, bro.
Then damn it, I got expectations for Washington. He better bring out Super Bowl 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
for
agree.
me, anytime I go on a live stream, I like to ask everybody included on the panel a set of questions when it comes to the thoughts that I'm having. And a lot of times when you're dealing with what ifs, it's a lot to try to take in because, until a deal gets signed or at least a trade gets made, then it's all speculation at this point. But let's say Deshaun Watson does come here. I can't speak for life out there in Texas, but I've lived in South Florida my entire life. I also believe in innocent until proven guilty, but let's be real. There's a lot of temptation out here in South Florida. And when you're on that kind of platform, making that kind of money over the course of a year, is he going to be man enough to learn from his mistakes and not get caught up in the kind of predicament that he's kind of caught up in right now? That's the first question. And the second question, let's say Deshaun Watson comes here, they move off of Tua Tagovailoa, but there's this other 25-year-old quarterback, this hot shot that everybody's fond of, who's killing it but doesn't like the predicament that he's in. Are the Dolphins gonna move off of Deshaun Watson for that other quarterback if Deshaun Watson, like some of us feel about Tua Tagovailoa, didn't do anything to deserve that type of treatment? It's one thing, and with all due respect to EM, because I've heard him on a couple of streams with TD and you Reason. I got nothing but respect for EM. He did mention about the things that the Dolphins value. With all due respect, this team hasn't really done much in over a decade. So for me, as someone trying to believe in the Dolphins, it's kind of hard to believe in what they necessarily value because it hasn't really brought us anything that we can hold on to and that we can take solace in. So again, everybody has their own opinion, but it's just when all the questions that I just asked and all the points that I just rung up, I'm curious to see how everybody else feels about it because these are things that I'm objectively looking at and think that everybody else should objectively look at when it comes to a young quarterback that you basically give the keys to and try to make sure that they can help put your team in a position to win for many years to come.
So in regards to the first point that you brought up about me and EM have actually had this conversation about him coming down here and the temptations in South Florida. Okay, I don't know if EM believes this, but this is what I've told him. I believe the Houston Texans knew exactly what was going on with Deshaun Watson, and I believe that they basically had a PR hitman, someone who kept everything under wraps. And when he said, "I'm out, I want out, I'm done with this," they basically open the lid and say, "Okay, you're protecting yourself. You're on your own now."
Right.
Now, the thing you're going to have, and I've said this, I believe I've said this to EM. I think I've said this to EM. I said, if he comes down here and he's that kind of investment that he is right now, I'm hiring someone in the organization that none of us know about exists, and he's keeping tabs on Deshaun. And if any of this nonsense starts, he basically not only has to clean it up, but he has to report back to me what's going on. Because especially if he wants to restructure his contract, man, I'm putting some wording in that restructure that, like, if this stuff goes down again, I have an out.
Well, I'm gonna tell you my perspective to that specifically. to that if he comes to South Florida, he's going to have issues with temptation. I mean, I look at it like this. First off, he hadn't been convicted of anything. That's number one.
Well, we
Let's
know he has a
establish that
fetish.
first.
Yeah,
Let's
we
put it
know.
that way. We know he has a fetish.
Right. Okay. But if it goes back to an interview Shaquille O'Neal did some years back, and he said, I guarantee you, if you found out all of these high-level profile players, NBA, NFL, base, MLB, et cetera, if you knew, the type of individuals they were behind closed doors, you would not be idolizing them. You would not tell your kids to put posters of them on your wall. So this notion that players, and I'm not, and players are perfect. No one's perfect. No one. So again, I'm not condoning. Hang on one second.
Teams literally, teams have cleaners for this kind of stuff. Like their whole job is to basically clean stuff, make stuff go away.
Sweep it under the rug.
I'm not condoning. I'm not condoning this man's behavior, but in terms of having a heightened level of concern, okay, that's your opinion. I understand that, but no. First off, he hadn't been convicted of anything, and two, he hadn't broken the law. My perspective in regards to Deshaun Watson has always come from a law enforcement perspective. What you can prove in a court of law. And I don't deal into the court of, I don't live in the realm of the court of public opinion. So that's always been my consistency in regards to, my opinion of what exactly transpired. I'm waiting on what to produce something tangible evidence. And this man hasn't been convicted of anything. And so for Todd to say that, well, I'm assuming, you're making the assumption, well, you don't make assumptions in a court of law, bro, civil or criminal. You have to have facts to substantiate what you are claiming. And to this point, the Houston PD feels like there's not enough there. To this point, that could change tomorrow, like I said earlier. But in terms of me being worried about him conducting himself, well, I have that same concern with any player because they're young athletes with millions of dollars, right? And they're basically gods to us. Damn it. Hang on, man.
You know what? I want to get
just real quick because he called when I said there was an assumption to be made about Deshaun Watson. First of all, you have to, unless very few crimes are actually witnessed with an eyewitness. So there's always going to have to be an assumption made on certain situations. I mean, we're never going to be in a room with closed doors. So if you didn't witness it, there is some sort of assumption that has to be made. I'm not convicting Deshaun Watson of anything. What I'm saying is the behavior is something you may not want to touch. I don't need.
So,
hold on a sec. You know what I wanted? There's a point I wanted to make to you guys too. Okay. So we've tied the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Saints to Xavien Howard, right? Okay, right? We can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The Saints signed Brian Poole today, a cornerback. The Cowboys signed Kyron Brown to a 2-year deal, a cornerback. And the Eagles signed Steven Nelson about 40 minutes ago, a cornerback.
What are you saying, bro?
Well, the report earlier was Xavien Howard linked to Houston in a trade.
That's what I thought That's what I thought the point you were trying.
All the other suitors don't need him now.
Yeah, all the other suitors that we know of have made a move at the corner position today. Like all within the last 5 hours.
Oh shit!
Are you full, Reason? You full, bro?
What
like
do you
the
mean?
panel? The panel?
No, not full.
I think Damien's trying to get in, bro. I think.
My biggest thing is this team has been predicated on the development of their rookies. We are now going to let go of, I think, our highest ceiling rookie we have, man. Is Watson an upgrade? Yes. But when we talk about the O-line, everybody says, oh, let's give them time to develop. Give them time to develop. Let's not go get Lindsley. Let's not go get this center. Let's let our rookies have time. But now when it comes to Tua, Watson, because I honestly feel we're not a quarterback away from a Super Bowl. I stay on that.
The reason why everybody's okay with moving off Tua now is because that's what Brian Flores asked on.
Hey, can I make a quick point real quick?
He didn't want Tua. He wanted.
We're not a quarter.
I want to move. I'm entertaining moving away from Tua because of the obvious upgrade Deshaun Watson would be. Purely point blank. There's no other reason why.
That's a top five quarterback.
Upgrade, but at
that's
this
a top
stage in his
five. It's
career,
not just
he has
an
to
upgrade.
because he's
It's a top five quarterback.
And he's not. And it's not. We're not trading Tua for Deshaun Watson. We're trading a whole lot of assets and moving on from Tua for Deshaun Watson.
Not right now. How much do you think Watson would cost? How much do you think Watson would cost right now? He doesn't cost the same like how he cost before the draft.
No, and unfortunately, Tua isn't worth anywhere near what I think the value of Tua is moving away from him. You know, I mean, Tua. If Tua were to have a good year,
all I hear is
hold on, let's check.
All I hear is Tua and draft picks for Deshaun. I'll take that.
Okay,
you're not giving nothing else up.
Yo, Klump, you're muted right now.
Klump. Hello, everyone.
What's going on, bro?
What's good? What's good, Klump? How you doing,
anything
man?
happening today? I haven't really seen any news about anything. You know, slow news day. Just kind of hanging out with the family. I mean, whew. How's everyone
quote
doing?
unquote slow news day. I agree.
No, Klump. I just brought up the point that you pointed out in our private chat.
Crazy.
The Saints, the Cowboys, and the Eagles have signed a cornerback today within like the last 5 hours.
Yep. And I don't know if you mentioned this. I thought the weirdest thing for me was you, Sorty, and I have talked about this. It was like last week I said the Eagles news is news I've reported and known for a while. Why is it so important right now? And we all said maybe he's going to get off or something. So I don't know. It's pretty strange, man. It's definitely something to look into. I don't think I see some people downplaying it, thinking it's nothing. But him not being on the exempt list is huge.
Do you think he's going to go on the exempt list?
From what I've been told, no. I mean, he would have been on the exempt list already. I don't think there's anything that's going to change in 2 days, if that makes sense. Like, the exempt list would mean he can't practice. He's actually, my glasses are fogging up. I literally just got out of the shower. I was weed whacking. He's literally going to go on, or he's going to practice. If you're on the exempt list, you can't practice. So if he's at practice and Roger Goodell has, quote unquote, found nothing to put him on the exempt list, I mean, that is significant. It's bizarre. So I never in a million years. I never thought he would be practicing. I thought he'd be on the exempt list the whole year.
What does your gut tell you where this is heading?
My gut right now, I think 150 million% that my gut tells me the Dolphins are going to try to trade for Deshaun Watson. It is like, I felt it from free agency. The fact that, who was it? Adam Beasley, for no reason, reported that the other day too. It's like, it seems like it's almost the Dolphins are trying to build up their PR scheme to try to recover from what happened with Watson, to be like, oh, he wasn't guilty, nothing. Like, it almost seems like they're trying to just like give themselves an out to try to sell fans on the move and stuff. It's bizarre, man. It's like
justify, yeah.
It is so weird that it's Sunday and training camp's in 2 days, and this is what we're doing right now. It's crazy.
Of course,
man. It's crazy.
You're going for a top 5 quarterback statistically. You gonna damn well say whatever. You gonna throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks to try to please your fans. Say,
yep.
At least will somebody get a Super Bowl. But I know one thing: let Tua ball out somewhere else, and y'all don't get a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, hey, boy, we should be excited, bro. This might happen, man.
I'll be happy too.
I can guarantee. My goodness,
that's another thing. That's another thing.
You guys should be excited.
We're getting
exactly.
Hold on a second. One at a time. Okay, everyone talking over each other, not going to help the situation. All right, EM, go, and then Klump. You were going to add something, so EM, go, and then Klump. Go.
I agree 100%. If we're Dolphin fans, we should be elated, absolutely elated to get a player at that level, at that age, considering the team we have. 20 years we've been trying to replicate what we had with Dan Marino. 20 years and counting. And again, we all love Tua as a prospect, but at the end of the day, he's still a prospect. This kid, Deshaun Watson, and again, y'all are saying like, oh, well, we want to keep we want to keep developing our players. Well, guess what? Deshaun Watson is not a finished product. He still needs to. The guy is 25 years old, so there's development that needs to be extracted. And I'm just sitting here. It's just extremely frustrating to me with these fans, quote unquote, Dolphin fans, not Tua Tagovailoa fans, but Dolphin fans are sitting here trying to make this argument, trying to contribute and try to discourage the Dolphins from making this move. He was clearly an immediate upgrade.
But you could be a Dolphin fan and just not hold Watson in the same regard you do.
Well, you're wrong on your evaluation.
Ultimately, I want the Dolphins to win, and if that
you're
means
wrong on your evaluation,
I'm okay with it.
You're wrong on your evaluation. You're wrong. At this point, you're wrong on your evaluation.
Hold on.
Well, I mean, like I said, that's something that, unfortunately, we'll disagree on. I think he's a very good player. I just don't think he is the end-all, be-all, because the Texans have never reached the heights that you would expect them to reach if his statistical prowess was not somewhat fugazi.
They were in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, Bo, 30 minutes away from making the Super Bowl.
That's right. And then with that roster, he found a way to go 4-12 2 years later.
Come on, man. Stop it.
Well, who did he lose that made them a 4-12 roster?
And they was up 27, and they was up on the Chiefs by like 20 points in first quarter.
Were you not paying attention to the comment Reason put up earlier about them being 31st in defense, 31st in rushing offense? Did you not pay attention to the comment he just put up on the screen?
Yeah,
it's a team effort. It's a collective effort. It's not just one player.
Because they were losing all the time, and teams were running the ball to run out the fourth quarter.
And yet he had them within one score. How many games? Within 7 games?
And somehow Tua won 5 games by more than 8 points.
All right, listen. I'm gonna stop you both from arguing. I'm gonna stop you both from arguing, and I don't know who is talking other than EM, the other person. I'm sorry for this, but this is half the reason that this offseason has been so unbearable for me, because I'm sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect whoever that was, but to even put Tua in the same regard as Deshaun Watson right now at this point is honestly, it's just downright it's just crazy.
Can't compare it.
You can listen,
common sense.
I love Tua. I think Tua can be an elite quarterback, but my words of what I am saying is, I think there's no 0% chance you can even say Tua is even remotely in the same planet as Deshaun Watson right now. Can he be 100%? What you're saying is Deshaun Watson's not going to be a difference maker between Tua. He's 100% going to be a difference maker.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, in the totality of the deal, giving up 2 or 3 first-round picks and Tua and paying the extra money to Deshaun, to me, is not equal value.
But how do you know Tua's going to ever turn into Deshaun Watson? Explain to me right now how you can say Tua will be as good as Deshaun Watson. That's all I'm saying to you is, what you are. Wait, I'm talking. What you are saying is you are guaranteeing that Tua could reach the level of Deshaun Watson. I agree with you. He might be able to, but that is the risk, and that is what the Dolphins are thinking about right now is, do we take the risk or do we get the quarterback now? And I love this whole thing about giving up draft picks, and I see Dolphins fans every day saying Noah Igbenogany sucks, Austin Jackson sucks. Well, then what's the point of draft picks if those players suck? Get the elite players. That's where I get so mad. It's you can sit here all day and tell me you're selling the future, but I see Dolphins fans other than Tua every day trash Noah Igbenogany, trash Austin Jackson, trash Robert Hunt, other than Reason because he's going to guard. But I see it all the time. I mean, I'm so tired of all this whole build through the draft, and then they hate on every draft pick the Dolphins make. At what point do the Dolphins have to get a player that they know is good instead of us talking all the time and saying, hopefully he becomes as good as Deshaun Watson? And that's coming from someone, I want nothing more than Tua to be the best quarterback in the NFL, because it would be so fun every day to log on and just reply to people that said he sucked after 9 games. But what it comes down to is, I'm so the rebuild. Oh, it ruins the rebuild. When are the Dolphins going to start winning though? Everyone keeps Klump, you want to build. But when are they going to start actually winning?
Everybody on the other side is completely misrepresenting my argument. No one's used the word guarantee that Tua is going to be as good as Deshaun Watson, all of that. And But again, the fact that
that's the point.
The
that's
only
the
way that you, but the thing is, everybody's acting as if until a player actually does it, you cannot judge them on their potential, which is completely opposite of what this entire structure of the draft in NFL and building a roster is. Of course, Tua hasn't accomplished what Deshaun Watson has. But just like Trevor Lawrence is lauded as this unbelievable prospect, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is clearly a more established player than Trevor Lawrence right now. You know, I mean, any player that's been in the NFL and has had success is going to be more successful at this moment than the rookie coming in. But see,
what's the point? What's the point? I'm trying to figure out the point.
The point being that you're comparing Deshaun Watson's success in the NFL to Tua's 9-game audition and saying, see, how could you put them on the same category? Because
I'm saying not to do
what
that.
I believe Tua is going to be.
That is the opposite of what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is, don't compare Tua playing 9 games. Know what you have in Deshaun Watson, and that's what the Dolphins are weighing. I'm not even.
Well, that's what I don't agree with. I want to be
on record first of all, because I need this to be on record. I don't think the Dolphins should go all in for Deshaun Watson unless the deal is right. I'm completely comfortable with Tua being the quarterback.
Which is exactly what I've been saying too. Yeah.
And so I don't want to get that misconstrued. But what I'm saying is what the Dolphins and why they're thinking about doing it makes complete sense because Tua's injury prone, whether you like to admit it or not, he is. The guy gets injuries. Freak injuries or not, yes, they are, but he's injury prone. Deshaun Watson's a proven player in the NFL. If you plug him into that offense, which, yes, again, if Tua plays lights out, obviously the offense is going to be great, but you know what you have in Deshaun Watson. You know every single day when he shows up, you know what kind of player he is. Every single day when Tua shows up, you're hoping he gets better. Like, there's a big difference. There's a huge difference.
Which is the whole point of why the Dolphins are entertaining bringing him in.
But you will know what's a pet peeve.
And that's why, and hold on a sec. That's exactly why they didn't draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
because they're fine with the prospect and the
Exactly.
project that is Tua. They don't want another prospect or project. The only reason they're entertaining Watson is because I keep telling y'all, listen, take what Nick Hicks said at value or don't. He was clearly not the same health-wise as what he was at Alabama. So even they don't have a gauge on what his floor is, what his ceiling is going to be. But Watson's a proven commodity.
Right. And if you were to say to me, Todd, would you trade Tua for Deshaun Watson? Straight up, begrudgingly, I would do it, even though I do believe I believe Tua is a superstar. I believe that in my heart. But of course, begrudgingly, if I had to make the move, Watson for Tua, heads up, I would do it because I'm not that much of an idiot. Even though I believe in my Tua evaluation, I'm not that much of an idiot that I won't take the proven commodity. But I believe that giving up Tua and those resources and the financial ramifications of giving up those prospects at rookie contracts to take Deshaun, you've immediately changed what the rebuild looks like, because the whole idea of the rebuild is to be able to continue to build the roster while the quarterback is on his rookie deal. That's the part. It's not. I agree. I lived through the Marino years. I got to enjoy those, so I understand the younger fans going, when are we going to win? But again, it's disingenuous to just act like this is a heads-up trade, Tua for Watson. It's much bigger than that.
But
I emphatically disagree with that.
My pet peeve is that if Watson
emphatically disagree with that.
If Watson was always on the back of their mind, why draft Waddle? Why can't you just get Penei Sewell? If Watson was on the back of their minds throughout this whole entire time, why not just get Penei Sewell and then you have the old line would be freaking stable.
Well, look what
have you ever watched the Texans game? Well, he runs away from pressure. He's athletic.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Here's the thing. What did Ian Rapoport?
Don't go down this road, bro. Please.
I'm going down this road.
I got the answers right here. Okay, what did Ian Rapoport report after we drafted him? Jalen Waddle was the second highest rated player on our board.
Exactly.
Just like he was with Jacksonville. Jacksonville gave Jalen Waddle the same exact grade that they gave to Trevor Lawrence. That's what happened. And what was I telling you? First of all, I was the one out here saying if we're taking a wide receiver, we're taking Waddle. And then I posted them up here. What was starting to come out of NFL circles a week before the draft? That Waddle was thought of way higher in NFL circles than what fans were thinking of him. And the only reason there was even talk about him being the first receiver off the board. And the only reason Jamar Chase was the first receiver off the board was because Burrow was campaigning for him. Yeah. If Burrow wasn't campaigning for him, Waddle would have been the first receiver off the board.
Because I always said, I even said I don't think Waddle is better than Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle. And that's based me seeing him play in LSU with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And I think it was just a better fit.
And also, not only that, it's like, okay, as far as Jamar Chase, it's like, okay, everybody's talking about his sophomore season. I wanted to see him do it again.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people, I think,
when you don't have Joe Burrow or when you don't have Joe Brady.
Well, you know what people fail to realize, too? People fail to realize, too, draft prototypes and draft profiles change year by year in terms of what you're looking for at the position. And he's the closest thing, whether people want to believe it or not, he's the closest thing we've seen coming out to a guy like Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
How big of a game changer is Tyreek Hill? Jamar Chase is a 50-50 isolation ball type of guy. The only elite traits he has are at the catch point. All right?
Jalen Waddle proved everything he was since his freshman year. Devontae Smith proved everything he was since his sophomore year. Both of them guys, Devontae Smith could have been the first round pick last year. He didn't have to come back, but he did and still continue to do what he did. Now, if Jalen Waddle was healthy, it would have been, ain't no telling who would have won the Heisman last year.
Yeah.
The only thing
Pyro please, I want to know what can Pyro clarify what the point he was trying to make with Jalen Waddle and Penisa Will.
He's basically saying if you knew you were going to get Watson, you got Fuller. Why bother drafting Waddle when you can get Pinay to upgrade the offensive line? That's what he's saying.
And I get that he evades pressure and all, but still, you would like to have
Pyro. They were monitoring the situation, but they never knew when it was going to clear up for a trade. That's the thing. They probably believed this might not clear up in time. Yeah. We got to roll through with Tua.
And let's also remember
hold
on. Let's also remember the Dolphins value offensive linemen a lot differently than some of us, and they paid extra for Liam Eichenberg. They paid up extra for Liam Eichenberg, so maybe they did have him ranked extremely high. And
that's dangerous thinking.
I mean, Reason and I have went over this before. It's crazy to think that they could have went, as dumb as it sounds, they could have just went Sewell at 6 instead if they wanted Eichenberg that bad. You know what I mean? Like the receivers could have switched up down the road. So like what Reason said, and I mean, it makes me sick, but obviously they had Waddle ranked higher than like all these players instead of Kyle Pitts, which is like crazy. Highest ranked player in Madden, by the way. Just let it be known.
81. He's 81.
Just let it be known.
Waddle's Lawrence is 78. Yeah, Lawrence is a 78 and Waddle's a 76.
And I also want to say this.
What is Waddle's speed? Anybody know his speed on the game?
No, we haven't seen the specific yet.
Okay.
No.
And I also
go ahead.
I also want to say this too. Just like if pitchers start to try to compare Tua to Deshaun, it pisses me off when people try to compare. I know they're going to be compared. All three of them are actually because they came out in the same draft, but it's like I'm looking at it from like the situation. Like Herbert and Joe wasn't coming off a hip injury. He wasn't able to, even before the draft, just like Joe Burrow was able to, train with his players. Hell, he even got the playbook before they drafted him. Like, it's like it's that's why I don't try to compare them. Now, did I compare Herbert? Yeah, because they fucking what did they say? Anyway, because they played against each other. That's the only time. But other than that, it's like if Tua went to San Diego, I believe 100% he would have the same amount of stats Justin Herbert had with them wide receivers. I truly believe that. And offensively, they would let him do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. I believe that too.
Well, he would have to throw the ball 590 times if we go by Herbert's stats.
And people are not looking at that as well. because when you have a good defense, you up by points, you don't have to. It's the same in Alabama. Why you think Nick Saban took Tua out?
Yeah, how many four quarters did Tua play in Alabama? Not very many, right?
Exactly. So it's like, of course, that makes sense. If Justin Herbert was on the Miami roster, it would be the same with him. He would not be throwing a lot because we're winning. What you need to throw 50 times for? So it's like when people compare, it's like you got to look at the situation. Tua's situation is completely different from everybody else. You can't compare Deshaun Watson to Tua. You can't compare Josh Allen's third year to Tua's rookie year. I hate when people do that shit too.
Tyler. See, here's the thing. This is where, again, I think it's going over many people's head in terms of Tua, and it's just not locally, it's nationally, the perception of him.
Yes.
It's about physical traits. That's what it's about. They're looking at Herbert, they're looking at Watson, they're looking at other players, and you go back to what Omar said, and again, this is an uncomfortable conversation, but this is what's been reported, and this is what's been. Damn it, my neighbor next. Hang on, bro. Hang on.
Can I? What's the educated guess on the trade package for Watson right now?
Can I say one thing quick? Because I see a lot of people saying this. It's completely off topic while we wait for him to come back. A lot of people are saying that the money is going to be an issue. I don't know how many times I have to preach this to people. Yeah. But even still, the salary cap is the fakest thing in the entire National Football League. It's insane. I don't know if people understand that everyone said the Saints had to cut all their players, but they've signed tons of people this year, and they just got Brian Poole. The salary cap is so easy to manipulate, especially with someone like Deshaun Watson, who if you would trade for him, you can just keep restructuring him like they did with Tom Brady, where you just give him the guaranteed money and kick the money down the road. Look what the Saints did with Drew Brees. You just got to hope that Watson would be as nice as Drew Brees in his last season, pay all that money back, which you can't obviously count on, but still, teams, they have that mentality that's next year's problem. They do it all the time. That's what they do. It's just how the salary cap works.
And kind of off what Tyler said, do you realize that I just got to say this, and I know you see a Klump on Twitter, bro, if we had Josh Allen, all these fans would have been calling for Josh Allen to be traded after year one.
Be crazy.
If Josh Allen was a Dolphin, especially under this regime, we would have never seen year 3, bro.
But listen, we talked about earlier reason, Ryan Tannehill. Why was Ryan Tannehill given so long to hopefully reach his potential?
I think the big difference between Tannehill and Allen and that whole concept is, though, a lot of people said Tua was so NFL ready. And I think a lot of people forget that the injury obviously played a huge role. With Josh Allen, people knew he needed to progress. Ryan Tannehill was a wide receiver that switched to quarterback. He needed to progress. Everyone's like, Tua's going to be the guy right away. He's going to be the guy right away. And it's yeah, he's a good player, but this guy just had one of the worst injuries ever. Literally maybe in college football history.
But I think, you look at those two players, you reference Ryan Tannehill and Josh Allen. Those are prototypes. They have elite traits. As much as I was disappointed with Tannehill, why were we so optimistic year after year after year? Because hopefully the mental aspect can mirror his physical traits. And then you have what you have in Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. But that never transpired here in Miami. But again, I think that's the biggest issue with Tua. And I think that's why Brian Flores is looking, again, this is not my opinion. This is just what I think is what's being consistently talked about with Tua, the lack of physical traits. Now, you can attribute that to his hip. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see what he looks like when the pads come on in training camp. But I'm telling you, I think that's the issue. They're looking to see if you quarterback prospect in the league. Okay, if you have inferior arm strength, you have inferior arm talent, inferior mobility, those guys get generally pushed down the draft board, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. So, but with Tua, I felt pre-draft as well as reason, as well as others, fundamentally, I thought he was just on another level. And I still think he is. But the thing is, I think that hip, considering what we saw last year, that hip injury, that devastating hip injury, has hindered his physical ability. And so I think the Dolphins are like, well, if you don't have elite physical traits, you have to excel mentally. And if you're talking about excelling mentally, that takes longer to develop as opposed to an already physically made player. And so I think that's what's going on right here. They're looking where we're at as a franchise, where we're at as a roster, and they see this other option at 25 years old, and they're like, he's already ahead of the curve on every level, basically. And that's why you see the high level of intrigue. And I don't think it's going anywhere.
I just want to say, hold on. Daryl, just because you have feedback, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I want to make room for Damien to come up here because I know he's been trying to come up here for a little bit. I appreciate you coming up, bro.
Man.
Don't be shy. Come up other times. I'm going to make some room for Damien, though. Okay, buddy?
You got it.
I just want to say about.
I think part of the national narrative that's hurt Tua too in this is that there were those two benchings, and I understand why. I'm not even knocking it, but it goes back to Flores not being 100% sold on him anyway, and then you wonder if it was a shorter hook than maybe needed to be or whatever. But the difference is Herbert lost 45-0 to the Patriots. Tua did not play a game that badly all year. There were bad performances for the other rookie quarterbacks, but because they didn't get benched and because people don't have the luxury of watching every game of every player and they listen to the national narrative, they act as if there was some sort of choppiness to a season because of those benchings that, like I said, 45-0 to a Patriot team that Tua beat doesn't even get brought up in Herbert's, season because he excelled in other areas. And I understand that. But my point is the national narrative is what sticks for 95% of the general public because they don't watch games.
Well, I've already addressed the benchings. From everything I've been told,
right,
it was because of tempo. It wasn't actually because of play. It was, play obviously, played a part into it. But from what I was told, it was the tempo that the offense was being called at with Tua in by Chan Gailey.
Right.
And that was actually one of the end-all, be-all philosophical differences between Chan Gailey and Brian Flores. And one of the main reasons Chan Gailey's not here is because Flores wanted a more up-tempo offense.
Like
Gotcha.
In the Bengals game, they started off with that shitty-ass slow tempo Chan Gailey did, and then second half, they threw a run no huddle, and all of a sudden, he throwing all over the damn Bengals secondary. Same with the Kansas City Chiefs game. Same thing, second half, run no huddle all day. He come out throwing all over the Kansas City Chiefs secondary and bring y'all within 7 minutes. And so, Arizona game, same thing. Chargers game. Like, it's like, man, come on. Like, the physical limitations, like,
I'm good.
he comes,
But
Tua comes in, accuracy, he already has that. Footwork,
But
he's really shown. If you run,
here's the
he
Go ahead.
make
Sorry.
it work. That's what I really believe. And I really believe, like, he just need an offseason to get more healthy. And I feel like he's done that. All that other stuff would be put to rest. I truly believe that.
But I tell you what's telling, though. What's telling, in my opinion, is that if we know Tua has, he had his limitations last year physically, the Dolphins have to know that. So they feel like a healthy, 100% healthy Tua Tagovailoa is not, in the on Deshaun Watson's level, or can get there, in my opinion.
Right? I don't think it's about getting there. I think it's about right now. Because they realize expectations have arrived and they got to deliver.
But we also,
I think that's what's. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What I'm gonna say is we also the fact that it's too close to the season to do something like that. We also got to think about the time that is spent. The receivers got to play with the quarterback, practice with the quarterback. The playbook has to get learned. All that stuff. I think after the draft, all the signs is showing us that they're gonna ride with Tua no matter what this year, because they didn't know what was gonna go on with Deshaun Watson. We still don't know what's gonna go on, so they cannot go on the season saying we don't know. The league don't even know what they're gonna do. So we 4 weeks away from the start of the season almost. They gotta go with Tua no matter what. I don't think they're gonna trade. I think if something comes up where it's a steal, where they really trying to give them away, we have no choice. Then yeah, but I think it's too late in the game to think about we're gonna do it.
Because my thing is, you was gonna make a move no matter what. You should have did it when you should have did it.
That's legit.
Sure did when the draft happened.
And that's the thing. We couldn't do it when the draft happened because that stuff came out. That's when I think everything was true about we was actually going full-fledged. But once all that stuff came out, we had to ride with Tua. And I think that's another reason. I'm not saying why Jalen Waddle was one of the top receivers, which I think he was, but I think he was the best fit for us. Because let's not forget about what Jamar Chase did at 18 to all the DBs that went in the first round a year before he even got in the league. He did his thing now, but what Jalen Waddle give us is a whole nother element. We have big guys on the outside. We needed that inside guy like what Jakeem Grant. We hope we could have turned out to be. We could have stole him, but obviously we needed an upgrade, so we had to snatch somebody like Waddle.
Now you got a situation where Tua, based on what Reason's hearing and what's been reported, Tua knows the playbook to where he can audible out or check out, or call it. He's building rapport with his receivers. He already has it with Jalen. He clearly has it with Albert Wilson. He's trying to get on the same with Devontae. So it's like, to me, that's improvement coming from Tua. He's doing everything in his power. It just, I feel bad for him because it almost seems like no matter what. And it's like, I hope.
And Tyler,
why do you got to get Klump all worked up about Albert Wilson though?
Tyler,
the hate is real. The hate is real.
I feel bad. I feel so bad for Tua too, honestly. I think, I know this sounds so dumb, but dude, it's got to be so. It's crazy.
No. I feel bad. I feel sorry for my neighbor down the street that got their stuff put out in the lawn, got put out of the house.
All right, you know what?
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for millionaires.
I don't feel bad anymore. I don't feel bad now.
No.
It's not EM.
Did anyone touch on Chandler Jones yet? Did we mention that? Did anyone say anything?
Yeah, he's requested. Chandler Jones requested a trade officially today.
I think that's pretty eye-opening, in my opinion. That's an interesting.
I feel bad.
I would agree. The timing, especially the timing.
Because he's doing all of this and trying to block out all the noise and probably what's going on between him and Brian Flores. So it's like you try to block out all that what you once were, not just for yourself, but for the team, so you can that they made the right decision for you. Like I would teach you that would be fun. Be off so damn much, but I don't have the mental fortitude that you clearly has been showing this.
And that's what I was gonna say. Just think about it. Out of the past 4 years of college, past four drafts, out of any quarterback, that probably the most mental state I probably think about is Tua. Honestly, to go through all this, because he already went through most of all this through with Bama. So that's the mental state. I'm not even worried, but I know he's gonna be a dog in that sense. I'm never doubting that part. That's never. But when we talk about Deshaun Watson, it's Deshaun Watson. Now, if you telling me I can't get Deshaun Watson, I'm gonna ride with Tua. That's for sure, because I already know what it is. But we talking about Deshaun Watson.
We're talking about a whole nother player, bro. We're talking about a whole nother animal.
Klump, finish your point. Klump, finish your point from earlier. You got cut off.
I'm sorry, Klump. My bad, Klump.
Dude, I don't care. You kidding me? What was I saying? I forget.
You feel sorry for Tua.
You feel sorry for Tua.
I just feel sorry for him in a sense where it's like, you have his trainer on here. Tua's busting his ass. You know what I mean? He's doing everything he can, and his trainer's saying Tua's ready to go. Tua's good, and then it's like another trade rumor, and it's like it literally doesn't stop. And there's literally 2 days till camp, 3 days till camp. Depends how you count the days. Tuesday. This guy has worked his butt off, and here we are. It is Tuesday, and I don't care what anyone says. You can have whatever mental fortitude you want. The fact that 2 days before he's going into his second season, you probably would have a 50-50 split on the fan base saying they want Deshaun Watson over you after everything you just put in. I mean, listen, Tua and I are way different people, because if I even had an inkling that the Dolphins were thinking about trading for Watson, I'd demand a goddamn trade
I would
today.
Too. I would
stick it to the Dolphins.
Hey, I would tweet
today. Listen, you can go try to trade Deshaun Watson all you want. Good luck with all that. I'm out of here.
But Klump, this the thing. We all we hearing is stuff from the outside, from the inside. We never know what Brian Brian Flores has really talked to Tua and already told him everything and already sat him down and saying, we're done with that. We already moving on. We passed this process. We never know. We on the outside.
We know. Hold on.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that from what we understand, he didn't have lunch with Tua Tagovailoa. So
yeah,
I mean,
hold on, too. Reason, did you mention anything about? I don't want to. I'll text you. I don't want to. Did you say anything about Nick Hicks today or anything? That's all I'll say.
No, I haven't said anything about Nick.
Okay,
Hicks,
never mind then. I won't say anything. But from what my understanding is, that's not the case whatsoever. That Brian Flores has ensured Tua that everything is all good. That's all I'll say. Is that I'm telling you, it's so hard for me. I've gotten so much better. I don't argue with Dolphins fans as much as I used to because sometimes it's not even worth it. It's like you can love Tua as much as you want. You have to understand that the Miami Dolphins are 1,000,000%. Like everyone craps on Adam Beasley. His report wasn't wrong. Like the Dolphins are obviously still thinking about if they're going to go for Deshaun Watson. And it's like, it's a weird situation, honestly. I will say this. I heard someone say that if they trade for him, like things aren't going to be good. Like it's too late to trade for him. That's not true. You got all training camp. I mean, they'll be Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback. Like it's going to be fine. Yep. And I'll say this too. Someone mentioned this as well, and I like this. I don't think, and I mentioned this to Reason and Sorty today, I don't think the trade package is going to be as big as it was supposed to be anymore. Nope. And I think a lot of people, I've seen some people saying like, oh, the Dolphins will get outbid for Watson. That's not how this works because there's one person who controls this situation. Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause, so they can get.
I thought he had to give a list.
No. It doesn't. He could get the Texans could get 3 first-round picks from the Eagles, Fletcher Cox, Zach Ertz. They'll throw in everyone they want, and you know what? Deshaun Watson can say, "Nah, I'm not going to Philly. That place sucks. Those fans are terrible." Like he controls where he wants to go. And from what I'm told, and from what I hate Philly with a passion, and I hope it goes because it'll be one of those situations where it'll be a disaster. But listen, I have been told, I don't know if Reason's mentioned this on the show, I've mentioned it to Reason, that Deshaun Watson's #1 destination and where he wants to play is Miami. And that, I don't know how people don't understand. That is so significant that the Texans are stuck. Like, if he's not going to play there and he wants to be traded, they might have 100%. To take,
unless we have resources.
What if they only trade Tua in a first round this year, next year? That's not too bad of a haul for Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. It's really not. Like the Dolphins have 2 first rounders in 3 years from now.
You can even add in Christian Wilkins.
The no trade clause is huge, but when you have 20 some odd women accusing you of sexual impropriety, the no trade clause loses a little bit of its steam because if you really want to get out of Houston, you cannot just veto any deal that unless it's to the destination of choice. I mean, at some point, Watson's going to have to.
Why would he want to go to some shitty team again and restart? He wants to leave a Texans.
He wouldn't, but the point is, at some point, he's losing his leverage because the same reason that the compensation may not be as big, he doesn't have the leverage of that top 5 quarterback.
The team doesn't have the leverage.
All right.
Even if they found no wrongdoing.
Hold on. Martin donated $5. He said, if we do acquire Deshaun Watson, I hope the sky doesn't fall on the Dolphins for giving up on this kid early in his career.
2 will be a Hall of Famer.
Yo, you already know how it works. Yeah. Dolphins luck is we trade for Deshaun Watson, he tears another ACL. Okay, so hold on a sec. Back to this whole thing that we're just talking about. If you guys remember, and Klump remember because he's on Twitter just as much as I am, there's a report that came out in February. Irving, I'm muting you because I don't know what you're doing, your dishes or something. There's a report that come out in February. Klump might remember this. And it was when Deshaun Watson was still out of the country on his vacation. So everyone tied it to his agent. You remember the report that came out? Deshaun Watson would basically waive his no trade clause to go to any team just as long as he gets him out of Houston.
Yeah.
And that was like a month before all the allegations hit.
Hey, Reason. The one thing, though, we have 2 offensive coordinators, but one of them came from the Bill O'Brien tree, which was what pretty much set up Watson's offense.
Yeah, but he didn't play. Yeah, he wasn't there, though, when Watson was there.
He wasn't there, but he still came from Bill O'Brien, which Bill O'Brien was the one who set up that offense.
Yeah, so but we run a different offense, so I'm not really worried about that.
And for And Todd, you know, we both suffered through the Dan Marino days. There was years Marino went 6-10. Do you think he deserved it? No.
No, there aren't too many though.
No,
That's
but there was a lot of 8-8s and a lot of 6-10, or a lot of 8-8s. But you got to remember,
8 and 8s, but there was.
But the defense is what killed him every year. This will be the first year Watson will have a full-on defensive-minded coach who can shut people down to go with his offense.
Oh, and
Hold on a sec, though. In Deshaun Watson's early years, he had a fucking fantastic defense in Houston.
He's got 2 division titles to show for it. He's got 2 division titles to show for it.
Hold on.
And those were in his early years.
Hold on. You want to sit here and say that division was as competitive what the AFC East is right now?
I can't go, bro. I'm going by when the man had a competent team, the man won the division twice.
I'm not arguing that fact, but what I'm saying is the AFC East is more competitive than what his division was in his early years when he had that defense.
Right. But what I'm saying is last year you can't hold the 4-12 against them.
Andrew Luck was seeing stars.
Yep.
And the Jaguars
not
were
8 and 8 though. 4 and 12.
Andrew Luck was getting bodied.
And again, here's
but
the problem.
Deshaun Watson was winning big games in those seasons, though.
He's got
he was
two
losing big
divisions.
games too.
He's got 2 division championships under his belt, and he went to the AFC Championship game 30 minutes away from the Super Bowl. Come on, man, really?
Bro,
Stop.
You already know what my pushback on that 30 minutes is.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear the defense lost that game because the offense should have kept choking them out.
I would agree. But
put it away.
I would agree, but you at least
Texans
have to get
defense
to the
did their
playoffs.
job. They did their job.
You at least have to get to the playoffs. You at least have to get to that point in order to win a Super Bowl.
Oh, I've already told you. With Deshaun Watson, we will be a perennial playoff team. But I do not think he makes it a Super Bowl contender because I don't think our offensive line and our running back room is good enough right now.
Right. My criticism, see, people are attacking my criticism of Deshaun Watson like I'm not saying he's a good player. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you guys are talking about him like he is a bona fide without question.
Regil says that was an AFC East divisional game. An AFC divisional game.
You know what?
Not
because they played the Titans. You're right, because they played the Titans. They played the Titans in AFC Championship. You're right. My bad.
I mean, Watson only had one bad year, by the way. Just so
we're talking about him though. Like you guys are talking about him as if he's a bona fide, without question, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And if that's the case, okay, wait. Okay.
And 25.
Okay, wait. If that's the case, then stop grading him on a curve where you start talking about his defense wasn't elite. 4 and 12 is different than 8 and 8. And at the same time, you have to answer for 4 and 12. If you are a top 5 quarterback in the how many 4 and 12s did Peyton Manning have?
His rookie year?
How about Tom Brady?
I got a question to ask you after this.
Oh, you're not getting an argument. But in all fairness,
look at the teams that they
Tom Brady had a far better coach.
Look who they lost to. You got to take who they lost to.
Name me the Hall of Fame wide receiver. Peyton Manning had 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers for the duration of his career. He had a Hall of Fame running back.
No matter where they went or where they Hall of Fame.
He had a Hall of Fame. He had a Hall of Fame running back who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. Edgerrin James. Okay,
he just got voted into the Hall of Fame. So yes,
come on, man.
Dallas Clark,
good tight ends, great slot receiver, Brandon Stokely. Come on, man. The man they built a good team around him. When Watson has had a competent team around him, the man is giving you 2 division crowns. Period.
Aaron Rodgers had 2 losing seasons.
You think we can't do that with this team?
Oh, absolutely. I think if the Dolphins, if they obviously the loss of Xavien Howard will hurt significantly, I think. But everything Watson brings, and I heard the brother earlier say about it's too close to training camp to make that trade. No. Watson is a veteran player. He's not a rookie player that you're trading for. Schematically, he's seen everything offensively and defensively. The only thing he would have to get familiar with is the terminology. Okay, so you get him in camp. I think if you lose Xavien Howard, okay, I get that. But I think what he brings, how he would enhance the offense, bro, it would clearly offset the loss of Xavien Howard, in my opinion, because I think what we saw with Ryan Fitzpatrick, if he could come in and get this offense at a top 10 clip, right? Let's all agree. That's just fact. Hang on. As much as y'all don't like Ryan Fitzpatrick, we were at a top 10 level when he was at the helm. I think we can exceed those numbers easy, in my opinion, with Deshaun Watson.
And let me clarify.
Deshaun Watson is just as injury prone. How many ACL injuries he got?
Two.
Let me clarify when I said too close to the training camp.
Good point.
It's so true though. I think everyone forgets this though. Like that's one of my favorite things, and that's why it makes me mad when everyone's like, "Oh, you don't like Tua." Like I was against Deshaun Watson in the first place. Deshaun Watson is so injury prone. This guy has 2 torn ACLs now. Like I think
he scrambles.
That's my only thing that I will say is if someone would tell me that it's not a good idea because he's injury prone, I believe it. I don't want to hear the whole talent.
That's legitimate. That's legitimate.
Let me ask you this,
That's
Klump.
legitimate.
This line had a 51% pass block win rate last year. Okay, that means only 51% of the time they held their blocks for more than 2.5 seconds. All right, I know he can extend plays, but wasn't that a similar issue as to why they had to make the upgrade at Laramie Tunsil? Because Watson could only do so much behind that offensive line they had.
And how good was Tua? And how good was Tua against the sack?
Wasn't Watson sacked 60 times in a season? 60, and then I think it was like 50 and 40 or something. Let me look. But he was sacked a lot. Deshaun Watson has been sacked a lot in his NFL career, which is
the only difference between Tua and Deshaun is Tua will only run if he has to. Deshaun, because he knows he has the capability to run and he is faster than Tua, he's gonna do it because he knows he can. Tua would rather do it if he has to. He can move around in that pocket.
I don't know. Deshaun kind of.
I think that's just adding another. That's just adding another dual threat quarterback. That's just adding another dimension to your offense that teams have to scheme for.
He's definitely a pocket QB. He's a pocket QB. He's not a running QB. He's a pocket QB first. He takes off, but he stays in that pocket more than not.
I also think Tua can run in the pocket. He's just not as fast as Deshaun.
Yeah,
he just stay in the pocket and run if he has.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Deshaun Watson, if I remember correctly, Deshaun Watson had the most passes of his NFL career in a single season in the pocket last year.
Yeah.
And he had his best season.
In the pocket.
Development.
They also were losing a lot more.
Development.
No,
development.
No players.
Development.
But no players.
Development.
Also saying too, because Deshaun, I know he can stay in the pocket and throw. I'm just saying because Deshaun knows.
Yeah, you can.
Faster than everybody else, he's gonna do it because he knows he can. Tua knows he's not the fastest guy in the world, but we've seen his rookie year. He can run outside.
Oh yeah.
Buddha Baker still and that's the thing I don't understand with national media. They say he's not. He don't have that. He's definitely running. So I don't understand why the national media was saying he wasn't.
Tua's a good athlete. Deshaun Watson's a great athlete. That's that's the difference. Now I will say this. When Tua's 25, I think and he puts in the same amount of time as Watson is. I think from the neck up he'll be more elite than what Watson is at 25. But the thing is that we always go back to is he'll never catch up to the physical traits that Watson offers you. That's different.
I think it's not like it's not like if you stick to school, you still won't have someone who can't do those same exact things at the quarterback position, because you still do if you have Tua. Because like I said, he can run outside the pocket. He has the accuracy. Probably doesn't have a big enough arm, but he has a big enough arm.
Oh yeah, he has a run for
60 yards down the field. If he needs.
And how many times you throw it 60 yards in a season?
Exactly, you're not doing it that much. So it's like it's not like you're still not getting someone of Deshaun's caliber. You still are just not at the level that Deshaun has it. So it's not like it's like if you miss on Deshaun, you still have somebody who can do all those things, just not better than Deshaun.
And to cement,
we're all in agreement in that regard.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say too,
nobody's disputing that.
I will say too, besides the neck up, is I think You know, in terms of like ball protection, I think Tua is going to be right there too.
Yeah.
Now I know, you know, what did he only have, like 7 or 8 interceptions last year?
5.
Tua?
No,
5.
Watson.
Oh,
I think he had
Watson,
he
right?
did it.
But the thing is, Watson fumbles the ball. Like Watson, you know, Watson
That's
has
how
had
he
a
holds
season.
it.
He's had a season with 10 fumbles in one season. I don't think you'll ever see that from Tua, right?
Yeah, but you can coach that out. There's development that's
Yeah,
needed.
he holds it like a loaf of bread.
There's development that's needed. He's not a finished product. Nobody ever said that.
No, he's only 25.
Just so.
Let me add this
25 years. We're talking like this dude is 35. He's 25.
Yeah, he won't be a finished product till like he hits 30.
Deshaun Watson was 5th in the NFL in quarterback runs last year. The quarterbacks in front of him were Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, and Lamar Jackson. He is the only quarterback in the top 10, counting, well, Patrick Mahomes is number 10. So him and Patrick Mahomes are the only quarterbacks in the top 10 of rushing that average over 300 or more passing yards a game as well, though. It's pretty impressive. So, I mean, he runs, but he throws the ball. Like,
Lamar
last
Jackson,
year
he takes hits in the pocket. I've seen him. He stands in the pocket and takes hits.
I agree he's more of a runner, but for the stats, like the splits of passing versus rushing, I mean, this guy, the top, I'm going to go through, I'm still going. I mean, literally, other than Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes, he's the only quarterback that runs the ball and threw for over 300 yards. That's impressive. I mean,
development.
And last year, didn't he have? Last year, I think he had the most passing attempts he's had in a single season.
Yep, he did. Yes.
And that's
He also completed a career high 70%, I think, too, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, completion. And I think he led the league in yards per attempt as well, like almost 8 yards a clip.
So he also got hurt last.
It was 8.9.
He also got hurt last year too, didn't he?
He played all 16. He
played all 16. So that tells you how aggressive he is.
He's a good player.
Oh, buddy, he's a top 5 quarterback, bro.
Tremendous.
I just believe that.
Wait till we see how Tua looks with those wide receivers on the field. We got Will Fuller. Watch the difference he makes.
Oh, and that's my thing. I was clarifying about it. And I was clarifying with the training camp. What I was saying is not saying that Deshaun, of course, like I said, I want Deshaun if we can get him. But like I said, at this point, I want him for a steal now, because all I'm saying is I feel like we invested into it to this point up to now. We're 2 days away from going to camp. Not saying that we still won't look at it and still won't be options. Of course, it's Deshaun Watson. You never not look at it. But what I'm saying is you would invest and put this much time.
Let me ask you this, bro.
You know what's crazy? He only started 6 games in 2017, played 7. He's been sacked 174 times.
I told you. He got sacked like 60-some times one year, right?
He got sacked 62 times for 384 yards in 2018.
Bro, and I think he got sacked like 50 either this year or last year too, like around there.
He got sacked 49 times this year.
That's crazy. I mean, think about how athletic this guy is too, how many sacks he gets away from. I mean, the Dolphins' offensive line would be an upgrade, in my opinion. They would be.
I've been saying that since day one. Hello.
That's
since day one.
It's
an upgrade of considering what he had, bro.
I don't know, bro.
Are you kidding?
I think Laramie Tunsil's better than all of our offensive linemen put together right now, if you want my honest opinion.
Matt
But he can't play all 5. But he can't play all 5 on the field.
Wait till you got a rookie right tackle with short arms. You got a center that's trying to find his 2018 ceiling. You got Austin Jackson hoping he's not giving up on plays like he was in the Denver game and other games last year. Oh yeah,
and watch this. And with all that being said,
Austin Jackson now is your blindside protector.
Right.
Yeah, but with all that being said, though, our offensive line was still better than the Texans. Think about what you just.
Not last year.
Yeah. What? Yes, it was. Last year, that offensive line was trash last year too.
Bro. Not in pass block win rate. They had a much higher pass block win rate than we did.
I'm talking about the whole
NFL.
I'm not talking about percentage wise. I'm talking about what happened on the field. What was actually. I seen it. Their offensive line was worse than our offensive line.
That's what pass block win rate is an analytic that matters a whole hell of a lot, man.
I know what I'm saying. He was running for his life all game.
Yeah, but
every
what
game
I'm
last year.
Saying is his line was holding up their blocks for 2.5 seconds far more than we were last year.
Well, you can. Hey, listen. It could be that Deshaun Watson, again, it goes with development. He's starting to distribute the football a lot faster now.
Mm-hmm.
Tua, one of his main issues was holding on to the football too long last year. That's just a fact. So
Right.
no.
He's not saying it's a bad thing. He's not saying it's a bad thing.
His rookie status.
A much different offense.
So I'm saying what I'm saying is, okay.
Offensive line played bad. You're right, but with Deshaun Watson, with how he's developed, it could have looked way better.
Let me ask you this, bro.
With the offense and the wide receivers and the weapons in Houston, I mean, they consistently could take the top off of a defense and played a much different offensive game plan than we did.
What's crazy?
Who's disputing that? Nobody ever tried to dispute
that. No, nobody is. I'm just saying.
On.
No, I was just pointing of fact. Nobody's disputing. My point is, again,
do you know Deshaun Watson? His average time to throw was about 3 seconds last year.
Yeah, Tua didn't have.
Right. All I'm saying is sometimes we get too caught up.
That goes into wrapped up that he's mobile because he gets out of the pocket. That counts too.
Sometimes situations are just so
Tua was
different.
moving out of the pocket and bailing a ton.
Yo.
This is a point I've made multiple times. Go watch him at Alabama and compare him to last year. As soon as he was feeling the pressure, he was bailing and trying to make a play.
Can y'all hear me?
And Tua's average time to throw last year compared. So Deshaun Watson, his average time to throw was 2.98 seconds. Tua was 2.52, almost a half-second difference. Tua did not have one game over 3 seconds. Watson had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, half the schedule, where he had 3.14, 3.05, 3.35, 3 dead even, 3.39, 3.3.
Listen, I'm a Deshaun fan. I'm a Deshaun fan. I understand what you're saying, but why do you think he also has 49 sacks? Because he's taking that long and holding the ball. So that's my whole point. You can give and take with that stat.
Dude, Tua had the second highest evading pressure percentage of any quarterback in the NFL last year, and he still had only 2.5 seconds to throw. Only Josh Allen had a higher evading pressure percentage.
And he had a better overall receiving.
Exactly.
So what's our point here? What
my point is, Tua put that together. Tua had the second highest evading pressure percentage of any quarterback in the NFL, yet he still only had 2.5 seconds to throw.
But you also just said in the same sentence that he bailed on every play. So of course he's gonna have the highest percentage in that if he's bailing in every play.
That's the same argument you're making for Deshaun Watson, that he's moving out of the pocket. When you move out of the pocket, you're bailing on the pocket.
And Deshaun, no, it's not. Wait, it's a difference. Tua bails on the pocket. Wait,
say something.
All right, okay. Wait. Tua bails. Wait, okay. All right. Tua doesn't bail out and look to throw. He only did that a couple of times because he's a rookie. When Deshaun looks and rolls out the pocket, he looks to throw. That's the difference.
Was making throws. When do you think he was checking down? Was when he was bailing out of the pocket.
And listen, no, I'm talking about when he bails out. I'm talking about the pass to Myles Gaskin or that pass he missed to Jakeem Grant. We talking about on those type of when he's evading pressure. That type of play Deshaun makes in his sleep.
Because
but they're doing the same thing, is what I'm saying.
No, hold on, wait. We're talking about honestly. Last year, all they really had was Will Fuller last year.
Can't get shit.
What do you mean?
He was wide.
I think
he had Brandon Cooks, bro.
Not last year.
I think what he
did. I think Brandon Cooks was on the Texans last year.
I'll make a opinion.
And didn't he
I
have
think his point. I think the
Will Fuller got suspended and hurt that last year. He was off and on.
Fuller was on that team, bro.
I don't think.
No, but he was off and on.
Yeah, but he was on there though. He was playing.
Like at least it was a security base for Deshaun when he wanted to throw a bomb downfield. Tua didn't have that.
I think he's saying reason that nobody's saying Tua doesn't have that element to his game. And I think we can all agree, Tua is not as consistent, and he can't do it at the level of Deshaun Watson.
That's all I was.
That's the whole.
That's all I said. It's not. That's not. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. All I'm saying is that's the difference.
So you're saying, but what we're saying here is, you're using one stature for one person. You're not using it for the same. I'm saying they're both moving out of the pocket, but at the end of the time, Deshaun Watson is getting 3 seconds. You're saying he's running around back there, every drop back for a half a second outside the pocket. That doesn't happen, bro. That's what I'm sitting here saying.
All I'm saying is yes, but Tua is bailing. Deshaun is more evading. As always, he's looking downfield to throw the ball. Tua was not.
So why does Watson not have a higher evading pressure percentage than Tua?
I just told you because he's bailing out on every. He's bailing out damn near on every play. So if you bail out on every play and then you don't get sacked,
what do you think? Watson's snapping the ball and then just running out of the pocket?
Did you not see? Did you not see his game?
I'm not done, bro. I'm going to mute you. We're not done here. Did we not just talk about how that was the most time in a single season Deshaun Watson spent in a pocket of any year? We just went over that. Like, we literally just covered that.
And just be real here, bailing out of the pocket is also counts as evading, pressure.
Why do you think you're getting out of the pocket? Because pressure's coming, bro.
You're going in circles.
So what?
No, but that's what I just said. That I said he do.
Did I unmute you, bro? No, I didn't. Okay, because I'm not done making my point. All you're running around is circles, and you're using one narrative for one guy, and you're moving the goalpost for the other one. We literally just went over most time he spent in the pocket as a passer through his whole career. That's why he has a 3 seconds on average time to throw. Tua didn't have one game over 3 seconds. Deshaun Watson's got games with 3.35 seconds. So what? He's bailing after 2.5 seconds and running around in the backfield for a second and then making the throw? And better than that, what is Deshaun Watson taking the snap and right away he's going off script and out of the pocket? No, when Deshaun Watson's getting out of the pocket, he's evading pressure. He's not just getting out of the pocket for the sake of getting out of the pocket, because then we would say he probably has some yips to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is absolutely asinine that we're moving the goalposts for one person and we're glorifying some other person. Makes no sense.
And also, you got to take, for a rookie, that's even more credibility, because for him to recognize pressure and to avoid it, as a rookie, you got to give it to him, man. Yeah. You got to give it to him. As much as you don't want to give it to him, you have to give it to him some way.
I don't know who. I'm still trying to figure out who's disputing that.
Listen, I'm
disputing the fact that Tua does not have none of mobility to his game.
I never said none of that. That's why y'all sitting here yelling at me for no reason when I literally just said Deshaun manipulates the pocket. When I'm saying that, when you say this, when you sit here saying he evades pressure, no, Tua was bailing out because he didn't trust himself. He wasn't bailing out because the pocket was. He was bailing out sometimes for no reason. What I'm saying is,
I broke down every 12, 22 play.
Can I finish talking? You just muted me. All I want to do is speak my piece.
Channel, bro.
Oh, you right, bro. All right, you right, bro.
Dude,
right,
I don't know who you think you are.
All right, bro.
I'm up here, bro.
I didn't. All I'm trying to do is say my piece, bro. You telling me to shut,
bro? I don't know what to say, bro. You're trying to say there's a difference between bailing and evading, dude. I broke down every single all 22 snap up here. Why was he bailing? Because the pressure was coming. Robert Hunt was in his lap on every snap. Austin Jackson was giving up. Ted Karras was allowing leaks up the middle. Jesse Davis didn't have the functional strength to play guard and was letting guys come through, and they couldn't pick up stunts on the right side of the line.
Exactly.
What are we talking about here?
Hunt wasn't enough to play right tackle.
With a clean pocket. How many touchdowns Tua threw?
Can I say something?
Like,
I don't know that
God,
man.
Can we all just settle down just a little bit? Just a little bit.
Man,
I have my calm voice on today.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Damon. You was trying
Just
to talk,
settle
man.
down.
I just want to say this, and Reason can agree with this. I've been more hype over the last 2 days, which I've been trying to text you about this. Reason I would like to talk about that after this show, about something that's non-football related. Reason should know what I'm talking about with that stuff that's been going on this weekend. Reason.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, but that's neat on there. So the thing is, I'm a diehard Dolphin fan. Love the fan since 1992 when I was 9 years old. Everybody knows me since I've been on. Listening on streams. I'm all in on Tua Tagovailoa being drafted to the Miami Dolphins. Bet on all sports to follow him through his career in Alabama. I think that a lot of what's going on shouldn't be about the comparison with Tua Tagovailoa and Deshaun Watson. It shouldn't be a comparison being that where Tua is right now and what Deshaun Watson is right now. I agree that people need to realize, in my opinion, that this NFL is not the NFL we've grown accustomed to. The NFL front offices do not wait on coaches or quarterbacks. When you wait on potential, your ass will get fired. Brian Flores does not do it, nor does Chris Webb, nor does Tua Tagovailoa, nor should any player DVP. At the end of the day,
yeah, I see how you try to sneak that in there, mother.
No.
I heard that. Okay.
I just want to say that at the end of the day, what we project to be or believe what he be, this coaching staff, whether their fault or not, and front office doesn't have the time to wait. And when you have an opportunity to land a top 5 quarterback, and I'm not talking about the off the field issue, that is what it is. I'm not a legal analyst nor a lawyer. I'm a football fan. When you have the opportunity to land one of those players, you cannot make the same mistake, and I'm going to jab at this team because I'm a Knicks fan, what the Miami Heat did with not trading Tyler Hero for James Harden. It will come back to bite your ass. At the end of the day, you have to push all in. If you believe and you have that conviction that you have a roster that right now, if you plug in a top 5 quarterback at their position, that you can contend for Super Bowls. Now, am I saying that Deshaun Watson can get us hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy this year? I'm not 100% saying that, but I believe he gives us a shot. I believe he gives us a strong shot that we can contend with Buffalo in our division for that title. And more than likely give Pat Mahomes a fighting Arrowhead in January. That's what I believe as of right now with the player that Deshaun Watson is, with the talent that surrounds him at the skill position and on that defensive side of the ball, even without X. And I know Noah will be picked on. I know Needham will be picked on. And whoever else that we bring to fold. I do believe that defense has the caliber to compete for championships. And I believe in the defensive side of the coaching. The offense is still a question to remain seen. But I do believe Deshaun Watson can be a force multiplier and take pressure off that defense where that defense can pin their ears back and go after and take even more risk, even minus an X. I believe Deshaun Watson can bring that to the table. And for those that don't, hey, that's cool. That's your opinion. But I will say this. If you're going to say what Tua is, why can't you accept what Deshaun Watson is now? Because the only thing we have to go by is a small sample size of 9 games and what he did. Tuscaloosa and Miami playing in the NFL is a total difference. Because if we're going to go by what Deshaun Watson did at college, he won a damn national title. I'm a Dolphins fan. I just want to say win. Wouldn't mind with Tua because that's who we drafted. We wouldn't have to give up nothing. But damn it, I'll take it with Deshaun. Damn it, if we can reincarnate Marino, I'll take it with him. I just want to win a Super Bowl. Hands up. See him play AW too. That's what I'm talking about.
Yo, and I'll just, bro, like, that was the most asinine running around in circles, making no sense, back and forth I've ever had up here. Like, I never thought someone would outdo Pete, but here we are.
I mean, you said you was yelling on
for me?
No, not
you.
Not
If
you,
the pocket is clean, Tua's gonna stay in the pocket. It's out there with a clean pocket. Tua throws for 10 touchdowns. 10.
Like, I just don't understand how we literally all raved about Watson, including me, about how he stayed in the pocket more than any time in the year before. And then it was, oh, well, he's mobile. That's the difference of why he has more time to throw. Well, what do you think Tua was doing when he was moving outside the pocket? Most of the time he was trying to make a throw. Like, how are we even having this conversation, bro? And then the next gen stats say he had the second highest evading pressure rate as a rookie.
And that's
Like, how are we even having this conversation? Like, what? There's no conversation to have, man. And I broke down every single all 22 clip with Mr. Ball Game up here, and we would constantly harp on the offensive line, either giving up on plays, not picking up disguised blitzes, not picking up stunts, or constantly being into his lap. Like, those are literally things we kept harping on every week, besides Gesicki's inability to run crisp, clean routes.
And that's exactly why I keep saying, like, every stat that has come out about Tua's rookie season has been debunking each and every narrative people have been trying to say.
I'm just not going to sit here and argue with someone who's moving the goalpost for one player to downplay what another player's doing. Like, it just makes no sense, bro. Like, I'm not going to sit here and I get to a point where I don't even want to hear your point. Like, I literally, because all I see is Klump. Every time I'm making a point, Klump's got his head down and he's like this. He's like, yup. He's like, yup. And I'm like, okay, so I know what the deal is, man.
And don't get it twisted, man. Deshaun Watson, every single year he's been in the league, he's gotten better, and that's why when he's in the pocket, like with that stat with him being in the pocket more so this year, that's more of him understanding defenses and knowing how to attack.
Development.
EM's right. EM said that earlier. It's development.
Yeah, and
because EM's right. He hasn't reached his ceiling yet, technically.
Correct. He's still developing. Now, I will say this about Deshaun Watson, because it's clear that majority of us would love to see Deshaun in aqua and orange, but
I wouldn't.
I will say this: the Deshaun Watson prior to these allegations, right, compared to a Deshaun Watson after everything is said and done. That's what I'm more nervous about, because he has all the physical traits, he has all the ability, he's been developing steadily. But who knows where this guy's mind is at this moment in time, and how he's going to react to whether it be a new fan base or what have you. This is eerily similar to when Michael Vick got caught up in his stuff and he had to go to prison, and he came out a new man and things like that. I'm more concerned about if we do trade for Deshaun Watson and we give up a lot to get him, what's gonna happen if this kid doesn't rebound mentally? That's my biggest thing, because as much as we want to say, he can get it done, he's a top quarterback, I agree. But that mind up from the neck up, bro, if anything is out of alignment, bro, because in the NFL, it's not just about your ability, it's about your routine, your ritual. What do you do pregame? What do you do during the week? What do you do off, like, I'm not gonna say off the field, because Deshaun, he did what he did, but I'm saying, how do you prepare? If anything is off with that formula, I'm just more worried about the results of that. And
Martin,
you
can make that. You can make that same argument about Tua, where he was going to be mentally, considering all the trade rumors, the consistent trade rumors. And Tua is dealing with people that he has to see 6 days a week. His coach is not completely sold on him. So he has to deal with that. So that is to me, that's a much bigger mental hurdle than what Deshaun Watson has to deal with.
But I will say this, EM. I'd rather see a Tua dealing with that than a Deshaun dealing with this, because trying to prove people wrong because you still feel like you need to prove somebody wrong. That's a little different than trying to prove your innocence of potential.
Well, that's why you got
rape charges. I think there's two different types of pressures.
I get it, but that's why you got the court of law to handle that. That's why you have the court of law. It's not, as much as people want that to be the standard or be the end all be all. The court of public opinion means nothing when compared to the court of law.
Truthfully, EM, only Deshaun knows what he did.
True
You
that.
know what I mean? Well, Deshaun and obviously the woman that's coming out and stuff, but only he knows what he did, meaning that it was consensual or he was just being out of control. You know what I mean? But I'm more nervous about how is he going to react when he's completely, free of all the charges and all this stuff. How is he going to play knowing that if he is like almost getting away with, like, I'm not going to say murder, but getting away with something that he potentially really did do?
Away with murder.
How is he going to react like on a mental level and still focus and play the game while he has some type of thing in the back of his mind, like, damn, bro, I just got away with, this, that, and the third. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that.
Deshaun the dog. I think he gonna put that to the back of his mind. I think he gonna go come to this season if he do play, and he gonna come out like.
I think they're both dogs. I think they're both dogs.
I think they both are. I agree. I think they both are. Both of them going to have massive chips on their shoulders.
Yeah. For sure, Tua.
I think Tua. I wouldn't be surprised if Tua plays borderline top 10, and Deshaun Watson comes out and has his best year yet.
Maybe. Can I chime in on what you just said, Reason?
Go ahead.
Just to say speak on what Mark was saying about the thing with Deshaun Watson, also with Tua. I want to use a couple of comparisons. First with Tua, about the talk and the chatter about the trade talk and the doubts with Flo, and now with Greer and people with such in the front office. I do believe that Tua has mental toughness because of what he had to deal with in Tuscaloosa with the whole Jalen Hurts thing, being benched in the playoffs, and from the Elite 11 thing. I do believe that you will see Tua react that way Troy Aikman reacted with Steve Walsh. Because we got to remember, after that first year, when they went 1-15, Jimmy was like, okay, I'm drafting Steve Walsh in the first round. My quarterback, University of Alabama, Troy Aikman. And if you want to prove me wrong on this, prove me wrong on the field. And that's what Troy Aikman did. I do believe Tua has those traits.
How does
mentally.
Damien remember this stuff when he's my age, bro?
Yeah, man, Damien.
Anyways, continue, Damien. Go ahead.
NFL Almanac, bro.
This guy has like a photographic memory. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think that Tua has those traits mentally, and I think that's what warranted him coming off the hip injury to be drafted in the top 5, even with all those medical red flags because of the mental aspect and the mental toughness. Deshaun Watson, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. If he is guilty of this, I think that he needs to his lucky start and turn away from that. But if he does slip up, and God knows I hope he don't, because if it does come up and we take him, then it will damage our franchise. But hopefully that he can turn away from it. But if he didn't do it, which I have to look at it, he didn't do it because he hasn't been convicted in no court of law, only by public opinion. I will tell him this, and straightforward, and I hope nobody doesn't feel any disrespect for that. Dude, get you a escort agency or service, man. Keep it 100. Yeah. But because that's what I basically think what boils down to. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But
right, you are who you are. You are who you are.
You know what, Damien? I wish he had someone close to him that said that, bro. And you want to know even better? Who's the motherfucker that's close to him that wasn't smart enough to say, Deshaun,
exactly,
make these girls sign NDAs?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like the Michael Vick situation.
You got too much to leave, man.
Yeah, it's just like the Mike Vick situation with me and you probably talked about that. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's not that I believe, this is my belief, that it's a situation now that even though we project Tua to be, or we see Tua could be, and what I know Tua Tagovailoa believes he can be, these situations, I can't think of a time where they've ever come up where you have the opportunity to get a 25-year-old top 5 quarterback. It's rare that it happens.
It's never been.
And I'm a hit at this again, just to go another dig at the Heat fans. I hate the Heat. Tyler Hero, James Harden.
Man,
just want to throw that out there. No.
Real quick.
Yes, you do. I can't. Damn it. Oh, my God. You pissed me off. Go ahead.
Hey, but Damon, to your point, though, I feel like the Dolphins is in the best situation right now though, because I feel like both Tua and Deshaun. I admit though, and when I'm thinking this way, I'm thinking he's innocent because if he isn't, I don't want him on the team. You know what I'm saying? So if we have Tua on the team going forward or Deshaun, I feel like either way, the Dolphins are having a motivated quarterback.
I agree.
To ball out.
Agree.
And you know what? Hold on. And you know what? I'll take it even further, Gen Z. And I don't know if people are going to agree with me up here. I think with either one, you make the playoffs this year.
Me too.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I want to add something to Klump said earlier.
As long as X is on the team.
Yeah, there's a lot more variables that go into that.
But here's my thing though. If we have Deshaun,
as long as Wilson is playing.
Hey, I don't even know if the Dolphins make the playoffs with Watson.
We have to
this
get a
year.
win. I think the standard for the playoffs is different.
Listen.
Hold on, Gen Z's trying to make a point. Go ahead, and then you can go, Klump.
In my eyes, I feel like depending on the quarterback, the playoff expectation is different. If it's Tua, we make the playoffs, it's a good season. With Deshaun, we have to win a playoff game.
Yeah, we got to make the divisional at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good or the AFC Championship.
It can't be no an appearance and ain't no 2016 Gase type. We make an appearance, then we just get kicked out. No, we need to make some noise in the playoffs. We need to let folks.
Can I respond to that? Please, can I respond to that?
Go ahead.
The difference is with the Gase situation is we never had a fucking Deshaun Watson before. We had Tanny for 7 games and we had Madden. But what Cliff said was very key. He said earlier, he came to training camp. If he was going to be put on that exhibit list, he wouldn't have made camp. And also something key that what he was willing to do and go forward with, he was only going to settle if everything was put out in the public. Usually that's what the places, because they want everything out. Let me show you how this dirty motherfucker did me and paid for it. No, he wanted everything out in the open, and the plaintiffs didn't. At the end of the day, I just think he indulged in the oldest profession in the world, and he got caught up in it, and which he should, because you think with your other head, that's what happens.
True.
And that's as 100 I can put it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. It's just like this. It's just like us. And you gotta think of it like this, and not kind of compare David Woodley. No way am I gonna compare David Woodley to anybody. But whether how good that killer B defense we had, and also with AJ Dewey rushing the passer, still really did quarterback on whether by hook or crook. And we benched his ass with Dan Marino. Was, to me, God quarterback always. But it happened. And guess what? It's not wrong. I mean, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's Deshaun Watson. And it's hard for you to tell Flo and Greer that when they know that their jobs are on the line. Right. Whether by their own choices or not, it is there. So us as Dolphins fans, we can say easily, we need to go on this projection. Maybe Flo might don't have enough time for projection. And that's a real thing.
Exactly.
That's what it said, right? Junior donates $4.99. Said someone's got crazy feedback right now. Can you drop the link to the All 22 film video or live stream? All you got to do, bro, is go back. It starts in like the episode 120s range, and the last one is on episode 163. So go between the 120s and the 160s, and you'll find all the Tua week. It's called Tua Tuesday. We dropped them on Tuesday. So all right, I gotta.
Can I say one thing before we go quick?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna do final thoughts, but I'll let you say your thing, and then we'll do final thoughts.
Did someone just mentioned it's hard to hear because there's like crazy feedback right now? Like
hold on a sec. It's Damien. Go ahead.
Who was that? Damien that just said about Brian Flores might not have the time for progression and stuff like that. Who was that?
Hold on a sec. No, it's Daryl that's got that crazy feedback.
All right.
Okay. It's Daryl. Okay, go ahead, Klump.
Who just said that Brian Flores might not have enough time?
It was me, Klump. It was me. That's my assumption, Klump. That was me.
No, and listen, I couldn't love that comment more because Chandler Jones is on the trade block today. You know who the first person was to report that Chandler Jones is on the trade block? Anyone?
Adam Beasley?
Jason Lockenfora. And Jason Lockenfora is Mr. Dolphins. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, he said on June 4th that Chandler Jones would be traded and demand a trade, and now he's doing his victory lap today. He mentioned Brian Flores could be on the hot seat. And when you really just start thinking about it, maybe there's some truth there that Brian Flores knows that he doesn't have time to see if Tua is going to be great. He wants to go try and get Deshaun Watson because he wants him to be great now, and it's like it just makes it more complicated in my opinion. I think that there's a lot.
Why is he on the hot seat after going 5-11 and then 10-6? Like
not so much the hot seat; it's expectations have arrived.
Yeah,
right.
And if he doesn't deliver, then things are going to happen, especially offensively. You know, everyone forgets Jim Caldwell. Technically, we're on our 4th and 5th offensive coordinators under Brian Flores.
True.
Yep.
True.
I think the hot seat's a lot different than just winning and losing too. There's a lot more that goes into it. So
yeah,
the background stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I was going to say is
maximizing resources.
The Dolphins might not make the playoffs with Deshaun Watson either. There's so many questions on this roster that it might not just be the quarterback that's the issue. I mean, Matt Skura is the center. Do remember that.
I feel glass if we don't make the playoffs. I chew a bottle.
It's not just
Oh,
Tua.
Klump.
It's not just Tua.
Klump.
Yeah.
Klump, if we got Watson and we did not make the playoffs,
I'm
heads would roll, bro.
Yeah, it'll be like
that's why Armageddon not making the playoffs.
Because from everything me and Klump understand, it's Flores and Greer trying to push us on Stephen Ross.
Yep.
And if Stephen Ross signs off and listens to them after we know at least Greer was pushing 2 on him, and now he signs off on another quarterback, and you don't get results, head will roll, bro.
I think we would. I believe we would.
Hey, you can put me at quarterback. It doesn't change the fact that the offensive line needs to progress. Matt Skura can't be trusted. Co-offensive coordinators, you might lose X. There's a lot of variables here.
No one in our running back room is a proven alpha, and the guy that they think's running back room hasn't never stayed healthy as a starter. Miles Gaskin.
Gaskin.
And it's killing me that the narrative out there is that Tua is the only thing that guarantees that the Dolphins make a freaking push this season. No,
it's the offensive line, bro. It's the offensive
not
line.
Me. I'm not ready. That's not me right now.
I will say this, though.
Well, listen. That's the nature of the NFL. It's not fair, but that's the nature of the NFL. The quarterback gets a lot. When things goes well, the quarterback gets the lion's share of the credit. But when it goes bad, they get the lion's share of the blame. That's just the nature of the game.
Hold on. Everything went well for Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer, and they don't get the lion's share of the credit. Let me just throw that one out there, bro.
You know what I mean? There are anomalies.
I know. I'm just joking, bro. All right, yo.
But from Flo's perspective, though.
Hold on a sec, bro. I'll give you final thoughts because I told my wife I was going live for an hour and a half, and it's now 3.5 hours, and she's been dealing with my kids for 3.5 hours.
When you having fun, baby.
Yeah, bro. And whoever that 305 guy was, I didn't block you or anything, so you're welcome to come back here any other time. I don't care. But I'm just not going to sit here and circle the merry-go-round on someone holding someone to one standard and moving the goalpost for the other person to be held to that same standard. That's all that comes down to. I'm not going to waste our time of the panelists up here and the people's in the comments of listening to us go back and forth about that. Because
what was his name? What was his name?
Something 305.
Well,
I don't know what his first was.
I gotta say to the young brother, hey, he's kicked me out too as well. So you see me still up here. So I've been there, bro. I can relate. So,
yeah, but I only
can relate.
Hold on, I only kicked you out when you're up here like, yo, fuck this, bro.
Yeah, man.
All love, man. All love.
I've been there too, bro. So it's all good.
He's welcome. Whoever, I forget your name. You're welcome back here any other time. I'm not gonna have my blood pressure going through the roof, and
I thought I was the only one that had blood pressure issues, bro.
So I'm not gonna just. I felt like I was wasting everyone's time, and I ended it right away without keeping it going for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's go through final thoughts. Pyro, go ahead.
Well, I said since day one, Najee would have fixed everything. You guys didn't believe it, and People always come out some damn pits and stuff. It's like, nah, it's Najee. And you guys gonna see when the season start, you're gonna see, damn, Pyro was right. And I told you. I already told you guys that. And then we need to start hitting those
Pyro, real quick. Pyro, you think he gets over 1,000 this year?
No.
I believe so. How's it going with the Steelers? Yes.
I do, because he runs the ball 300 plus times.
You're gonna have to that line.
The Steelers are gearing up to run him 300 more times.
Yeah.
That old line shaky. He's gonna get touched in that backfield.
It's better than ours.
But if you think about it, on 300 carries to get 300 to get over 1,000 yards, you only need to average like 3.25 yards a carry, really.
Exactly. And I think he's gonna get a bulk of those type of carries.
Yeah.
So, all right, Tyler, your final thoughts.
I just think regardless to wherever he goes or whatever team trusts him, I really believe in his ability. I wouldn't be pulling it hard for the kid if I didn't. I just think he just needed time to get healthy. So I just think, like I said, he can do all the things Deshaun can do. It's just Deshaun's better at it. He's a better athlete than him. So I think regardless of where he goes, he's going to be fine.
Sackman stirring the pot.
I agree 100%. I couldn't agree more.
Sewell and Najee would have fixed the offensive problems in Miami. Oh,
read my mind.
I agree.
Read my mind.
You know what's going to be even worse is if they trade for Chandler Jones. Why'd you draft Jalen Phillips?
Right.
Like,
Reason we talked about this, bro. If they're preparing for life after Xavien Howard. And Noah is not where he needs to be. Well, the only way you can offset that is bringing in pass rushers, and your approach is going to be more organic as opposed to pressurized.
Hey, keep your phone on you, EM. You might get a call to come play edge in the Dolphins.
I know.
I'll get your jersey, EM. I'll get your jersey.
I'm gonna save Klump and EM for the end. Damian, your final thoughts, bro.
Well, first of all, I just want to say this: great O is always reason. And also, I just came from church. I preached today. It was a great sermon. But Klump and EM brought the gospel today, preaching the good football news. So I just want to shout them out for that, man. Y'all really had me excited, man. So I just want to But everybody gave great
don't
views.
appreciate that. He a hater.
Everybody, man. Everybody in the chat gave great views. I look at it like
What about me? What the hell?
I said everybody. I'm shooting you, Pyro.
Nothing but foolishness, Pyro.
Okay.
I
called you on your hate.
Just look at it like this, guys. Look at it like this. If Tua is who we all projected him to be coming out of college, if Watson deal doesn't go through, we win.
He was who we thought he was.
That's right. And if we do make the Watson deal and he is putting up the numbers he did last year and can win playoff games like he did the year before last, we win. So I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm excited. This is the best time to be a Dolphins fan. For once, we're not worried about making a trip around pay for AJC. How he's done.
If he puts up the numbers he put up last year, he only threw 3 more touchdowns than Justin Herbert. We should have drafted Justin Herbert.
Yeah. God. I'm keeping the optimism and the positivity. We still win, guys, and we're not the same old Dolphins. It's not AJ Feely, it's not Jay Cutler, it's not Jay Fiedler. We have a young promising kid. We drafted at 5, and then a top 5 quarterback right now. Those are 2 options. Let's not be the Miami Heat. That's all I gotta say. Fix it up.
We should have kept Josh Rosen.
Okay, bro. Pyro, do you want me to kick your ass out of here right now?
See what I mean about foolishness?
I'm just joking.
Pyro loves to troll,
Daryl, let's get your final thoughts, dude.
First things first, I just want to apologize to everybody. I've been trying to get the delays handled on my end fixed, and really do.
You have headphones?
Really
Are you wearing headphones?
No, I'm not wearing headphones at all.
That's why. The feedback's coming into your phone or your computer from StreamYard. If you have headphones in, you'll be better.
I see. All right, I remember that in the future. But nevertheless, the only thing I want to say is that I'm going to continue to have hope for the Dolphins this year, and to point out what mentioned earlier, whoever the Dolphins decide to go with, whether it's Tua or Waddle, of course you're going to have high hopes. It's just for me as a fan, right now at this moment, Tua Tagovailoa is our quarterback, and so as a fan, it kind of gets frustrating because it feels as if some fans, they're reacting to Watson as if he's already here and he's not. So I just hope that we as fans continue to have these conversations because it kind of takes the sting out of it a little bit, and it's great to get a different perspective from everybody else when it comes to the state of the Dolphins or football in general, because we as fans, we deserve to be able to connect with all walks of life and discuss and give our feedback on certain things. So big ups to everybody. God bless, and fans up.
Salute. Salute to you.
Pyro mentions Josh Rosen's name, and Mr. Ballgame shows up with a bunch of thinking emojis.
I'm sure he did.
He did. I just did.
Oh God! This again.
Yeah, and the guy's name was
Sinatra.
Sinatra 305. Yo, bro, you're always welcome back, dude. So
yeah, you know what? I hope he does come back. He had a lot of good.
Doing it his way.
Just
he's doing it his way.
Yeah. All right. Gen Z Fins fan, let's hear your final thoughts, bud. Gen Z.
Shadow round.
3, 2, 1. You there, bro?
Fatality, man. He got fatality.
He keeps on muting himself and muting himself. Bro, I don't have a ton of time, so like 3, 2, 1.
Can y'all hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, go
ahead. Last minute, baby.
Right on time. Right on cue.
Yeah,
crazy.
My final thoughts, man, is
Oh, and then he gets the Josh Rosen internet connection.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, sorry, bro, you broke up.
Bro, just when he was about to make his point, that shit just
done.
Done.
All right, Irving, final thoughts. Please don't give me a dissertation. I gotta get out of here, bro.
Chapter 1, verse 1.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But in all seriousness, right now.
Hold on, Pyro. He needs as much time as I can give him, so go ahead.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Clear his throat.
Clear his
All right.
throat.
All right. No, but in all seriousness, the Dolphins showing interest in trading for Deshaun Watson. You gotta be excited for your team. You gotta feel happy, seeing just by seeing your team, that is willing to upgrade the quarterback position and they're showing the willingness to win. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people got to realize, I know you guys like Tua. Tua. We all like Tua as a player, as a person. We all hope that he can play well. But Deshaun Watson is the clear upgrade over Tua Tagovailoa as a quarterback, both as a passer, both as a running quarterback. He's just on another level right now that Tua isn't right now. And you got to remember, the Dolphins have a lot of question marks regarding his physicality, his hip. We don't know we don't know what his ceiling is going to be regarding his health. So all I'm saying is just, you guys have to take off your aqua and orange colored sunglasses and realize that this guy is a top 5 quarterback, bro. And if you put him in, bro, he can push you closer to Super Bowl contention more than any other quarterback, well, most quarterbacks in the league right now. So, just that's all I gotta say.
It's the fucking epilogue, you mean?
Oh, I love it. I love you, Irving, bro. All right, so Irving always brings good stuff, so I appreciate Irving.
Yeah, I love Irving, man.
He brings better shit than you, Pyro. Shit. All right.
What? What the fuck? I don't go on a fucking monologue, bro. I don't go on a monologue. I keep mine short and clean. I don't want to go on a monologue. If you guys want to hear that shit, then all right.
Well, I would hope you keep it short and clean. You don't have anything progressive to provide.
Wow, okay.
I'm just fucking with you. I love you.
I know.
Because I think you're actually right.
Foolishness. I'm not. Straight foolishness.
You be having your foolishness too now. Let's
I
be
just
real
want to read
here.
this to EM. Last comment, EM. All love, bro. Respect your opinion and football perspective as a whole. Enjoy the interaction. Hopefully, whatever happens, it leads to playoff wins in Miami.
Yeah,
that's a smart man right there. Salute to you.
That's what's up.
All right, Martin, your final thoughts.
Yes, sir.
This guy.
Reason, appreciate you having us on this panel.
It's been a while, bro. I've missed you, dude.
I've been in the Goku hyperbolic chamber. I've been under the weather, guys. Like for real, man. It's been bad. It's been bad. But
Give my prayers, brother. Give my prayers.
I appreciate that. For
Hope
real.
you took an assist
Got you, Martin.
That's what I need right now, a sensory being, bro. but for real, man, this Xavien Howard situation is still concerning to me because obviously projecting success after success, season after season, 5-11 to 10-6. This was also predicated on how well we played defensively, and I think once you take out an Xavien Howard from that equation, bro, you're basically playing Russian roulette, bro, with the results you're probably gonna have defensively or as a whole as a team, as far as holding teams to a certain amount of points versus how many points you can score. But I will say we have to really think about what this really could mean if we do get Deshaun Watson, because he's an awesome player. He's an awesome player, bro. Like I want to draft him like from the very beginning. As soon as we started 1-4 in 2016, I was on the Deshaun Watson train from the jump. But now that we have Tua on board, I wanted Tua from the beginning. Now that we actually have Tua, I just want us to kind of see what happens. I know Deshaun is clearly the better player right now, and he's still developing. But I just want to see how Tua responds, because I've seen how he responds in the past, from high school to college, and obviously this is a different beast in the NFL. But his track record says it all. I just want to see how Tua can respond to having such a circus, swirling around him like this, coming off a clear, catastrophic injury, a poor season in his own admission. I just want to see how he responds, bro. And even if we, stick with Tua, I just want the fan base to just flock to the reality, bro. We might make the playoffs, man. And if that happens, I see Tua taking this game to another level after that, bro. I'm just saying, I'm a fan of what he can do. So let's just see what happens, though, man. Fins up.
By the way, when my wife gives me shit,
insight, bro.
When my wife gives me shit, I'm blaming it on final thoughts.
There you go.
Which is true.
Klump, your final thoughts, buddy. Before Klump goes, no, you can go. I'm just joking around. If you're watching one, this is why my subscription counts keeps going up. I just hit 4,600 because good content and people like you see up here coming up here and providing their insight. You could learn a thing or two, bud. All right, go ahead, Klump.
Boom.
That was amazing. I love that. Pyro, I have to pick on you a little here, Pyro, because you mentioned that if they drafted the running back, everything would have been good. I'm actually going to go a little farther here. If they wouldn't have traded back from 3 and drafted Kyle Pitts, we wouldn't be sitting here saying they have the ammunition to go get Deshaun Watson. So
well, listen, that's your gator. That's your gator. That's the gator speaking out right there. That's that gator speaking out.
But listen,
that's that gator speaking out.
Go ahead.
Amen.
Go ahead, Klump.
So my final thoughts, though, are just this.
Gucci Man's done talking.
Dolphins fans need to
I do not sound like Gucci Man. I'm sorry.
You kind of do.
Dolphins fans need to accept that Deshaun Watson trade could happen. Xavien Howard trade could happen. Like, these aren't just like made up scenarios. Things need to happen. I think Dolphins fans need to have open minds on things going on. It's not just all happy Candyland in Miami. There's some things behind the scenes, so we'll see what happens. That's what I'll have.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Klump, before I get to EM. Higher percentage of happening, X being traded or Deshaun Watson being traded for?
I'll say X being traded, just because they would have paid him by now if they were going to pay him, so things look ugly. And now that Chandler Jones demanded the trade, I just feel like that's just such a perfect combination that X is going to end up going to the Cardinals and Chandler Jones is coming.
Because you know what? Klump, the Saints, the Cowboys, the Eagles, all those suitors who need a corner went out and signed one, and you could make the argument the Arizona Cardinals need a corner worse than all those teams.
Yes, they do.
And they didn't sign anyone today.
Yep. So yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Appreciate you, Klump. Love you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. Love you, bro.
EM, your final thoughts, buddy.
Man, salute to the panel. This was a very, very, very efficient show today, man. It was good to engage, and have healthy dialogue with all these, great football minds. Salute to everybody in the chat that always show up to support the homie Reason, because you already know the quality of content that this man puts out on a nightly basis. With that being said, listen, this, I get this conversation was uncomfortable for a lot of people. I understand, I get it. But at the end of the day, if you're a true Dolphins fan, this is the best. If you think about it, with Tua Tagovailoa, the prospect, and also the possibility of acquiring Deshaun Watson, this is the best we've been at that position, as far as having options that we've been since Marino, in my opinion, since Marino retired. So with that being said, if the Dolphins opt to get Deshaun Watson, it's a win-win. If we opt to stick with Tua, we all believe in Tua's upside. We all believe in Tua's ceiling. So that's a good place to be in as well. So either way, I think we win. It's a win-win for us. Either way, either option at quarterback, I think we get to the playoffs. Well, I was going to say as long as we keep Xavien Howard, but that's not going to be an issue. I mean, that's not going to be a possibility. But anyway, we're still good at quarterback. And again, this has been a 20-plus year issue for this franchise. So with that being said, bro, I understand the good portion of our fan base that wants to hang on to Tua. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand. But we're in a good place. We're in a good place at that position. And either scenario, either player is a good option to have right now. And the Dolphins, for the most part, we're in a good place. So I know we argue and go back about, where we think what direction on that needs to be the focus, that we are healthy at quarterback, and we haven't been that way in a long time. So with that being said, bro, y'all know all day, every day, to the logo, not players, to the logo. That's right. All day, every day, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right. If something develops, I'll be back tomorrow night. If not, I will be back Tuesday, and I will be live all of July, rest of July, and all of August. Every day training camp happens, I will be live. So you're all about to get a serious dosage of Reason. So, all right, I will see you guys if something breaks tomorrow. If not, I will see you guys on Tuesday for the first report of training camp. So until then, stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed.
Y'all be safe.
Up all day, every day.
Peace.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, sir.